Hello, hello. Damn, how many people here today? Chat's lively, but not many people here today. Hmm. Well then, kind of quiet, huh? Kind of quiet. I don't think there's anything on Reddit. I know they have their prediction thread, which is new. I don't think I've seen their prediction threads. What are they like? This one's kind of funny because I feel like it's going to be terribly wrong. This one's kind of funny because I think it's going to be terribly wrong. Ruka tries to persuade Kazuya to have sex, and he resists. In the meantime, we get 10 pages of internal monologues about how he can't do it because he has Chizuru, while at the same time imagining having sex with Ruka in his thoughts. And the chapter ends with a shot of Chizuru still suffering from love. I want this to be wrong just out of sheer fucking spite. I want this to be wrong out of sheer fucking spite. I think it's going to be wrong, right? That's my feelings. That's my feelings. Ruka comes over. Kazuya resists her advances. Ruka tends the TOD list while Kazuya isn't paying attention. Ruka is crushed and completely breaks down. She realizes that Kazuya has been leading her on for over a year now. Well, over a year? Whoa, 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 whoa. No, 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 no. No. Not over a year. It would be like a few months. Like a few months. Right? It would just be a few months because it would be. It'd be like 2 or 3 months. Pretty much 2 or 3 months. Because after the 3 months, she saw that he was feeling better. So that's when she would see the list. So it would only be about 2 months where she thought they were getting serious. See, that's why I think the sex thing is not going to happen. Ruka thought they were getting serious. Ruka was starting to get serious herself, and Kazuya was giving her some inclinations that he was somewhat serious. And Kazuya changing his hair could lead into, say, something like Ruka wants to introduce Kazuya to her parents. See how that could be kind of rough, right? Literally, to me, I think that it's supposed to contrast the first birthday. So you get introduced to the first birthday, and the first birthday, what is it? It's Ruka going to Kazuya's house, right? It's Ruka trying to sell herself as the girlfriend this time, right? So this time Ruka goes to Kazuya's house, but not with his parents, right? It's not his home of origin, it's his new place. She sees the new Kazuya and then considers introducing him to her parents, right? Whereas before she always wanted to be introduced to his grandparents, but they already know her. So she would want to introduce him to her parents, which would be a big deal because looking back at the story, I realized that, Ruka, a huge factor to why Mommy might have broken up with Kazuya is that Kazuya tried to introduce her to his grandmother. Suddenly, the relationship is getting really fucking serious. And Mommy can't actually commit to the relationship, right? She doesn't think she can commit to the relationship. So most people only see the Mommy relationship from the bad lens, that Mommy just wanted to inflict onto Kazuya what was inflicted to her. However, I think that was an excuse. Rather, that was her and Hawaiians. But when she initially broke up with Kazuya, it wasn't that. It wasn't that. I think when Mommy saw that it was getting serious, she wanted out because she can't be serious about him. And she never let she never let the love blossom. She was just kind of having fun, right? She just kind of wanted to have fun and suddenly started to get serious. And suddenly she started to also catch feelings. So Mommy essentially in some ways kind of gave Kazuya, essentially their relationship is meant to be a mirror to the relationship with Ruka, where the way Mommy was acting seemingly led Kazuya on, right? It seemingly led Kazuya on. She agreed to date him. She did all this stuff, only to hurt him in the end. Literally what's happening with Ruka. And that's why Ruka coming back in this chapter is absolutely no coincidence. It is absolutely no coincidence, right? So it coming back like that just makes too much sense to me. So it's coming back to this, it's not been Over a year. No, it would have been like a few months. It would have been a few months because in the 3 months, Ruka wasn't really doing anything with him, and she knew it was Chizuru. She knew it was Chizuru. She knew Kazuya wasn't really like focused on her. After the 3 months, that's when Kazuya started leading her on, because initially Kazuya wasn't really answering Ruka. Right? Initially, Kazuya wasn't really answering Ruka. He's just like, oh, yep, mm-hmm, yeah. Ugh, right? Like literally you could see it in his face. Like he's just like, oh crap, what do I say? Shit, what do I fucking say? Like he doesn't know. And Ruka starts making her own assumptions, right? Like a part of this that I do think kind of gets ignored, and I ignored it a little bit too, is that Ruka is kind of still making her own assumptions. She created this illusion for herself. Right? Ruka created this entire illusion for herself. The problem was that Kazuya afterwards unfortunately led her on, in particular in that date that Reiji drew. Now, I think Reiji wanted to do more dates with Ruka. I think Reiji wanted to do more dates with Ruka to slowly build into this, but because his editor didn't let him, he didn't get to. So I think that date, those 2 chapters with Ruka before the big date, essentially acted as a massive culmination of like everything he wanted to do with Ruka. Like at least at that point, right? To slowly build into that, he wanted to do like a massive thing with that. So those 2 chapters acted as a massive culmination because. As he said in the interview when he was doing the Ruka's crowdfunding, he wanted to do more chapters and they didn't let him. So he put most of his eggs in that basket in just those 2 chapters. Like, okay, I'm gonna get that all there just so you understand. Okay, Kazuya is kind of leading her on right now, and you actually got clues. For instance, there's a chapter I reread it recently. The chapter when it was established that Kazuya was going to move out. This is chapter 302. Chapter 302 is when Kazuya tells Chizuru when he's going to move out, and like literally Chizuru asks him, like, when do you plan to move out? Right? Like what's your moving date? And Kazuya tells her the moving date, and then she starts going and talking to Kibe and stuff. What happens in the end of this chapter? This chapter is really interesting. What happens in the end of this chapter? If you go to the very end, it's Ruka. And what does Ruka tell him? Hey, let's go to your place. It's like it was building for this for a while. It's like Ruka wanting to go to Kazuya's place has been a thing for a while, and her being deprived of going to Kazuya's place, being unable to get into his personal space for a whole month, in contrast to Chizuru living with him for an entire month in a personal space, actually acted as is a big deal, right? So Ruka finding out that while she's been on the outside the whole time, he's been on the inside the whole time, is also another big deal, right? But it also shows why Ruka has had this built-up tension, why Ruka is at that point, because literally she didn't get to actually be with him in a close space, just them together, for a whole month. That didn't really happen, right? They hung out, but that didn't really happen. Right? But so for a whole month, Ruka was just kind of on the outside. And so it's almost like a meta-narrative by Reiji, where he's reintroducing Ruka into the story, but also acknowledging in the way that he's introducing her, how she's literally not had chapters. And how she's kind of bent up, if you will. Right? She's kind of pent up, right? She wants more Kazuya. But at the same time, it's kind of reaching a dangerous point where it's kind of not okay anymore. So, yeah, she says, recently, all of our dates have been outside, right? How about we go to your place after this? Sorry, my grandma's got a cold right now. What? But it was your mom that got a cold last time, right? He was lying to her, and things are slowly escalating, right? You're seeing things slowly escalate. He's not like doing anything particularly bad. Yeah, he's lying to her, but it's like, okay, Ruka kind of created this. And what's Kazuya supposed to say? Like, where's he going to take her? He has nowhere to fucking take her, right? And Ruka just kind of just doesn't know where to go with this, so she's just like, okay, whatever, right? Ruka-chan thinks I'm living in my parents' house right now. I can't take her with me, right? Because his parents are like, where are you staying? Right? So it would just cause chaos. He can't do that, so literally he just runs away. I've got to work. Bye. He just runs off. Ruko's already getting clues back then. So you already had signs as early as this point that, hey, things are not as they appear, right? So let's see. Kazuya finally realizes that all of his indecisiveness is starting to hurt the people around him, and we finally hopefully start to shift in his behavior. So, okay, this is where I introduce a theory of mine. Do you guys remember when we read the Reiji thing, and Reiji said there's this problem that he's trying to address in the thing in Kazuya changing his hair, right? There's this problem that Reiji's trying to address in Kazuya changing his hair. And he says this is the harder path, but this is the path he wants to go through. I think I might have figured it out. I know I've said I've figured it out before, but I think I might have figured it out. And I think it's actually literally what he's showing us right now. Kazuya not knowing how to send signals out and not knowing how to receive signals. So he doesn't realize that what he says shapes the environment. What he says or doesn't say shapes the environment. It's not about indecision. I was wrong about that. It's not about indecision. Rather, it's about what he's putting out and what he's not putting out, but also how he's interacting with the world and what he's reading. So essentially, not knowing how to read the signs, literally like he can't read the signs from the driving school, but also how he can't draw lines. He doesn't know how he's interacting with the world. And the reason I say this is the problem is because Reiji in that part said, it's this thing that if you go back and read through the original story, so essentially everything we've gotten up until this point, you'll see a repeating pattern. You'll see a repeating issue. And to me, when I started rereading the story, I'm like, oh, that's the issue. Because you can see it as early as the beginning of the series, right? When Chizuru tries to draw a line, Kazuya either lets her or makes some sort of mistake, right? Where he doesn't know how to answer things correctly, or he kind of misreads the situation, or he sends the wrong signals out. And it happens all sorts of times. For instance, chapter 32, right after they have the thing with Umi, where Kazuya's talking to her and all that, Chizuru asks him blatantly, "Are you in love with me?" Right? And now Chizuru does it confrontationally. Sure, Chizuru does it confrontationally, but Kazuya keeps giving her signals he's interested, right? Because suddenly he's trying to make this gift that she gave him really personal. But it was kind of personal. But then they're kind of struggling to draw the lines, and Chizuru wants to stick to the idea that they just have a rental relationship. So Chizuru freaks and gets confrontational with him, and he just says, no. And Chizuru's like, yep, that's what it is. Yep, that's what's going on. And Kazuya is clearly unhappy by this, right? I'll show you the chapter. Right? Kazuya is clearly unhappy by this, whereas Chizuru went back to the norm, right? Chizuru went back to the norm, and Kazuya is clearly unhappy about this. I'll pull up the fan translations because I think it's a little better. There's a mistranslation in this chapter for the official translation, so I don't want to show you guys that version. Oh, wrong chapter. Oopsie. Right, so Kazuya is really happy with the phone case. Everybody's gotten something from someone else, right? Everybody else has gotten something from Chizuru, right? And Kazuya wants to be like, oh no, mine's special, right? He wants his to be special, and it is special, but instead he wants confirmation from Chizuru, right? Right, but he knows it's special, but he needs confirmation to feel validated. But he doesn't need to do this, like, come on. So he does this. She's like, I mean, I'm your girlfriend, right? Kazuya tries to draw a line. Oh, I guess so, right? And listen to what he says. But if a client gets a present, they'd probably get the wrong idea. I'm their girlfriend. But yeah, but a present, I'm their girlfriend. Chizuru just keeps saying the same thing, right? It's like, okay, like it's clear, right? What is happening here? Chizuru's drawing a line with him, right? Okay, you're clearly not getting the info, right? That's my job. Right? With them, it's my job. With this, it's a little different. So she says, what do you want? You plan to meddle with those lines of work too? I'm their girlfriend, so a present isn't that weird, is it? It was the office's idea. I guess so. He turns away. Chizuru looks and she's like you know what you're implying here, right? You Sorry, one sec. Okay, sorry about that. Okay. So Chizuru looks at him and she's just like, hey, I have something I have something I want to get clear. Right? She wants to clarify this. Get clear. Are you in love with me? What? Pretty confrontational, right? And look at Chizuru. She's blushing, right? Before, she wasn't really blushing. Suddenly, she's blushing, right? And she can kind of feel it, right? It's like, what's going on here? You're giving me signals that that you like me. What the fuck's going on here? What's the dealio? No, I knew it. God, right? She's frustrated. She closes her eyes, right? It's just like, for fuck's sake. Look, if you're not in love with me, don't give me these signals. Right? This is literally what she's saying. If you're not in love with me, don't give me these fucking signals. Right? Because she has feelings at this point. She totally does. She hella has feelings at this point. So she's like, okay, fucking hell. If you're not in love with me, don't give me those signals. Because that's what he's doing. Right? After all, the only reason we're keeping the image of lovers is is for the sake of our grandmothers. I have no intention of letting emotion get in the way at this point. But this is where Chizuru kind of makes a small mistake where it's like, okay, emotion's already involved. Way too fucking late, buddy. Way too late, right? Way far too late, right? And it seems like Ruka got the wrong idea, but I'm at the end of the day a rental girlfriend. Ruka tells him, I think if you can be that serious about a rental girlfriend, that you would be able to treat your real girlfriend 1,000 times better. Okay? So, guess what's happening? I'm at the end of the day a rental girlfriend. If you started to have feelings, it would be a different story. What does that mean? Right? What does that mean? Let's keep our standards in mind and act like adults. Huh. Okay. Oh, look at that one. She's cute, right? I'm envious of the boyfriend. Look at Kazuya. Very unhappy. Chizuru's kind of happy, right? Right? Chizuru is happy. She's keeping things clear, right? But Kazuya is unhappy because he didn't do the thing he wanted. Ruka shows up. Chizuru leaves, right? Kazuya turns to Chizuru. Chizuru just leaves, and she's worried about her grandmother. What happens after, right? They end up in the love hotel. Huh. This seems oddly coincidental. So if you go throughout the series, this is a reoccurring pattern. This is very much a reoccurring pattern with Kazuya, where he'll send out the wrong signals. Or he'll send out the right signals, but then give the wrong impression. Which is why Chizuru is confused. This is why Chizuru is confused. And I think this is the issue. This is literally what's going on. This is why it's being represented through Kazuya's hair. Kazuya is literally sending us mixed signals. Right? He's literally sending us the wrong signals, and he's about to send all the other characters around him the wrong signals. Right? Because he changed his hair. Right? He's changing how he looks. Kazuya is giving you the impression he's changing. He's not fucking changing. Right? You're getting mixed signals. So you think Chizuru's the one giving mixed signals. It's him. And if you go throughout the series, it is actually consistently him. He's always giving out mixed signals. And that, I think, is what Reishi's trying to address. I think that's what Reishi's trying to address. Kazuya's mixed signals. And why Chizuru is having a hard time feeling like she's in love. Because her love isn't one-sided. Chizuru's love is not one-sided. So she has a hard time feeling like she's in love because she does like Kazuya, but she doesn't get to see all of them, and she constantly gets mixed signals from him. So she can't feel like she can understand or embrace this feeling completely because she's not getting the full picture. That's why Chizuru is saying, I'm in love with you, but not enough to date you. Because clearly, she's getting mixed signals. He's not being clear with her. And you can see this all throughout the story. You can see this in the very beginning of the story, like I just showed you. You can see it when Kazuya confesses in chapter 49, right? Chapter 49, you literally see it right there, right? Kazuya tells Chizuru, I want you. Very possessive language. He uses extremely possessive language as they're talking about something that is very personal, right? She's talking about getting a girlfriend. He says, I want you. What do you mean? Look at Chizuru. She's clearly confused. What do you mean? Oh, as a girlfriend, you know, that rental, though you're a rental one. Oh, that's what you meant. That was very misleading. That was quite misleading. Still, sorry, I started the rental girlfriend thing as a training for my acting job, so if I get more acting gigs, I really have no choice but to quit. Kazuya walks in, right? Stupid. Right? She's frustrated. What's that all about? What the fuck? Bro, why are you getting my hopes up? Kazuya, why the fuck are you getting my hopes up? Literally, stupid. I fucking love her. This is one of the lines I fucking love from Sora. Sora's delivery of the baka is fucking perfect. It is actually perfect. I gotta pull it up. It's so good, right? Sora's baka is actually kind of fucking amazing. I know I have it. It's in the final episode. Okay, well, we gotta make sure it doesn't. Yeah, I'll move it here, and I'll check it, and then I'll play it, just because so we don't get in trouble with YouTube. Okay, should be good now. That's so good. It's so good. Can you hear it? You could hear it, right? I hope you could hear it. Like, come on. Actually peak. This is one of Sora's delivery. Like, just a single word. That's it. It's a single fucking word. But goddamn. Goddamn, Sora. Goddamn. I felt that. I felt that. Baka. But it's like, see, you think to yourself, it's a tsundere baka, but it's totally fair. Like, this isn't a tsundere-like baka. It's completely fair. He's sending her totally mixed signals. It's such a fair baka. It's such a fair one. Like, you're not even upset at her. Like, she's totally getting mixed signals. Right? Chizuru's totally getting mixed signals here. Right? But then when it comes to her acting, he doesn't give mixed signals. Right? When it comes to Chizuru's acting, this is where it changes. Right? When Kazuya goes to watch her play, this is where it changes dramatically because he's totally different. Right? You can see it on Chizuru's face. She's like, what the fuck? Right? Like when Kazuya is like losing his shit here, look at her. She's blown away. She's like, what the fuck? Holy crap. Right? She's totally thrown off because she's like, what the fuck? He had all that in him? Right? And then she gets frustrated and walks away. Right? And then after this point, right, when Kazuya does this, after this point, she starts letting him in. She's like, okay, fine, let's start doing this. Let's pursue this, right? Like, and this is where you see Chizuru. This is how you see Chizuru drawing the lines perfectly. They had a rental date, right? Chizuru tells him not to spend, right? And Kazuya is like, I'm just a customer. In the rental date, he is just a customer. In the rental date, she's being as professional as possible, even when Kazuya says crazy shit like this, right? In the rental date, Chizuru is like, no, I'm going to keep acting like this is my job. That's what I'm supposed to do. I've told you that my job is supposed to help me with acting, right? If I don't act like a customer's dream girl, there's no point. Kazuya is like, what a coincidence, because the real you is my dream girl. The fuck? The fuck? Because earlier, he's just like, I want you as rental. And now he wants the real me. The fuck? Chizuru is just like, how can you say that something like that with a straight face? But if that's what you want, I guess there's no helping it. I'll go ahead and be myself then, as per your request. Okay, right? Chizuru being herself, being her honest self, right? And she this made her happy. Don't get me wrong. This totally made her happy. And then the date ends. Chizuru starts walking away, and Kazuya is just like, what am I doing? Rent her every week? Putting myself in Mizuharu's shoes, I guess that it's nice to be supported, but I wouldn't want to have to carry someone else's expectations either. Huh? Right? He's aware of that. What does Chizuru say on their real date? Right? Their real date. What does Chizuru say? She's trying to live up to his expectations. And he doesn't realize Kazuya is enforcing that onto her. It's a little unfair to my other customers. A customer. That's what I am. Nothing at all changed today. Everything just stalled. Hits 5 o'clock. I'm off the clock now, huh? Are you free? There's a place I'd like to go. The moment the line is, it's no longer on the clock, we're changing shit up. Right? This is Chizuru drawing a fucking line. When we're doing rental, separate. When we're together on our private time, also separate. Right? You keep that shit separated. Chizuru knows how to draw a fucking line. This informs so much of what's going on with her in the cohabitation. A lot of people misinterpret what Chizuru is doing in the cohabitation. They completely misunderstand what she's doing. What she's trying to do throughout the entire cohabitation is not lead him on. She doesn't want him, for instance, here's a great example. Chapter 240, when they talk about Ruka, right? Chapter 240, when they talk, or 241, when they talk about Ruka ever so briefly, right? Chizuru's looking around his house, right? And she sits down. They start talking. Speaking for myself, I still feel pretty guilty about Ruka-chan, and taking into consideration her feelings, I feel it would be pretty bad if she were to know of this situation. I see, so that's why she was observing the surroundings so carefully. Certainly, if Ruka-chan were to know of the situation, she'd blow her lid. It should be fine. She said she's doing homework today. I see. How have things been with Ruka-chan lately? It's been 1.5 years since that day now. A lot of stuff's happened those past few months, so I thought I should know how things are going now. The way things are right now, the status quo, should I say, things are like usual. She was a bit mad for a while after we came back from Hawaiians, but lately she's totally back to normal. I see. She makes sense she'd be concerned, although Mizuharu did give me the push now that it's turned into something like that. I've been talking to her about breaking up a bit before we left Hawaiians. I know where my heart lies, and that going on like this isn't right. But she said that she knows all that and doesn't want to break up despite that. That's Ruka-chan, all right. I suppose her feelings for you are real, and I don't want to hurt her any further. And when I think about what would happen if she finds out, I feel it's not the best idea to try and see you carelessly. Mizuharu, of course she'd say that. She's rather earnest about stuff like this. So even the fact that she didn't contact me was because she's been considerate of Ruka-chan. When you put it like that, even if she says she wants to see them for that they are, it's not like our relationship is going to grow closer all of a sudden. But don't worry, okay? Even though I said I want to try to understand, it's not like I have a firm plan. I know what I'm saying seems childish, but I do think it's unfair to keep dragging things out. I think it's unfair to keep dragging things out. Which is why she fucking rejects him. She doesn't want to drag this out. But as I said so, didn't I? That I won't leave you hanging. I'll definitely give you an answer for what I did to you. It's a bit silly, but for now, would you bear with me? Okay, so what happened here? Chizuru never once tells Kazuya to break up with Ruka. Even though it would be somewhat smarter to do so, right? It would be somewhat smarter to do so. So to create some sort of plan to break up with Ruka. Why doesn't Chizuru do this? Very simple. She doesn't want to lead him on. What if her feelings for him are not love? What if she's mistaken? What if she's wrong somehow and she gets his hopes up and then it doesn't work out? She doesn't want to give him a definitive yes and then it'll end up being a fucking no. So she doesn't tell him to break up with Ruka, right? He's the one who should decide that. It's his relationship. All Chizuru can do is explain to Kazuya what she's going to do and what she wants. But she can't make him break up with Ruka, right? She can't decide that for him. That should be his decision. And this is the thing I kind of really want to come back to. Ruka is not Chizuru's responsibility. In a relationship, it is between you and the other person, no one else. It is not Chizuru's responsibility. Ruka already knows how Kazuya feels. Chizuru may have pushed Kazuya into the relationship, but Kazuya ultimately made that choice. Right? Nobody gets to decide that relationship or anything. Maybe Chizuru owes Ruka a common courtesy to explain to her, right? I'm serious about him. I love him. Blah, blah, blah. She could do that. That's all Chizuru could really do. Just tell Ruka, I'm serious about him. I love him and I want to be with him, right? That is what Chizuru wants to do. And so the question actually becomes, it's not about Chizuru confronting Ruka. This is something that I think is a common misunderstanding. People think Chizuru needs to confront Ruka. I think you're wrong. Chizuru needs to confront Mommy, not Ruka. Chizuru needs to confront Mommy, not Ruka. And in terms of Ruka, what she needs to confront is her own love. Ruka is a representation of Chizuru's love. That's what Chizuru needs to confront. Chizuru being able to look Ruka honestly and say her feelings honestly to Ruka and know these are her feelings and say them confidently is about Chizuru. It's not about Ruka, right? Chizuru is doing it from a place of guilt and she feels like she owes Ruka, but it's not about Ruka. It's actually about Chizuru herself. Just as what Kazuya needs to confront is not Chizuru, not Mommy, not Ruka, but himself. In contrast, what Ruka needs to confront and be honest about with herself is Chizuru. That's the irony. Ruka is conveniently choosing not to see Chizuru in the picture. And that's why she's not assuming anything bad about Kazuya, even though she's getting the clues, right? When we're going through the chapter where Kazuya and Ruka are on a date in chapter 347, 348, she's getting all the clues. Kazuya's fucking up left and right. He's not keeping this secret a secret very well. He's doing a terrible fucking job, right? He literally has what is it? He has his fucking clothes washing, like what is it? Clothes let me pull it up. Like his clothes like smell a certain way because of the fabric softener, right? He had a new fabric softener. Right, I'll pull it up regardless. I'll pull it up. Kazuya had a new fabric softener, and it's because it's Chizuru's fabric softener. And Ruka's like, that smells different. And Kazuya like freaks. He doesn't know what to fucking say. It's like, okay, poor job number one, right? Literally, poor job number one, right? I'll keep this secret safe. Did you change your fabric softener? Oh, no? Nope, didn't do that. Nopey, nope. Yep, you're right? It doesn't really smell like your parents' house. Are a smell expert or something? Well, Grandma Nagomi acts younger than she is. You're right. Yep. Oh, yep. That's totally what's going on. And then later, what happens? Kazuya drops a receipt, right? Kazuya drops a receipt, and Ruka picks it up, and she's like, "Hey, this is from Ikodai, right? What's this?" And Kazuya's freaking and acting weird. You went there at 12:18 in the morning. You really went all the way to Ikoda to buy manga at that time. Huh? Really? Oh, I remember. I was hanging around Kurabashi's place, and I remember the magazine came out that day. Kurabashi-san. Does he live in Okadai? This is interesting because it actually comes back to Ruka herself. But what does Ruka do? Conveniently ignore this, right? All the signs point to Chizuru. All the signs point to Chizuru. Ruka's choosing to look away because she wants to convince herself Chizuru's gone. Ruka wants to convince herself Chizuru's gone. So she doesn't want to face Chizuru. She wants to look away from Chizuru. Right? No. It's not Chizuru. I'm going to look away from that. Even though Ruka gets all these signs. Ruka knows. These signs are far too familiar. She's aware. She fucking knows. But she's like, no, I'm going to look away. I'm going to keep looking away. Right? It's easier. I'm happy this way. Right? Ruka's living in an illusion. So, yeah, and this is where it's like, okay, this stuff, not so much on Kazuya. He's just doing a terrible fucking job keeping this a secret. This stuff, not so much on Kazuya. He's just doing a horrible fucking job keeping this a secret. And I kind of started to realize what the point of this was. So there's a few layers to this Ruka chapter. Okay, so first off, the credit card thing, there's a bit of karma in that. The credit card thing, that's more the karma for Kazuya. The reason Kazuya, this is happening to him in this chapter with him dropping like the fabric softener or dropping the receipt or dropping his keys. Rather, what Reishi's trying to highlight is how Kazuya is saying he's serious about Chizuru, and yet he's fucking not. He's really fucking not. Because he's not being actually as serious as he's claiming to be. And that's what he's showing here. This is not karmic justice for Ruka. This is karmic justice for, what is it? This is karmic justice for Chizuru. Because Kazuya keeps saying he's fucking serious. So this keeps happening to him. And in contrast, what's going on with Ruka is she's living in an illusion, and the illusion inevitably catches up to her. And that's why Kazuya ends up between her legs, right? It's kind of more of it's kind of like Kazuya being put in a position where when that happens with the leg thing, when that happens, Kazuya is very close to losing this thing that Chizuru got him, right? And he finally starts appreciating it just before he's about to lose it, because he handed it over to Ruka, right? Kazuya does something really fucking stupid here, right? Kazuya hands over the keychain to Ruka, right? So Ruka could put it on, right? He makes a really stupid fucking mistake here. Ruka is always going to replace things. Ruka has always done this. Bro, Ruka has literally always fucking done this. When she's literally trying to be Chizuru's replacement. So when you give her a key that literally has Chizuru's thing on it, what the fuck do you think is going to happen? She's going to try to remove it. It showed Kazuya didn't actually cherish this thing. That he would hand it over to Ruka. Right? That he would drop it in the first place. Did Kazuya actually genuinely... He would have lost it. If Ruka had not picked it up, he would have lost it. He would have lost the keychain. He would have lost the key to the house. He would have lost the keys to a whole bunch of other things. Right? If Ruka had not picked it up, he would have lost it. Instead, Ruka picks it up and then he hands it to her. And lets that happen. In a sense, there's a bit of karmic element at play here because of the credit card. Right? Kazuya is doing this whole thing with the fucking credit card. Okay, here's some karmic justice for you, motherfucker. You're not cherishing Chizuru, so this is going to happen to you. And you're not cherishing Ruka, so this is also going to happen to you. Right? But this is also in part on Ruka herself. Right? Because Ruka created this entire scenario. Right? So you can't completely blame Kazuya. The credit card is totally Kazuya. The credit card, that's totally Kazuya. There's no what's, buts, ifs, or what's about it. That's on fucking Kazuya. He dragged Ruka into this for no fucking reason. Right? He dragged Ruka into this for no fucking reason. He did not need to do that to her. That's just cruel. Right? That's just plain fucking cruel. Right? Like, even Reiji calls it out for what it is. Right? Let's go to the chapter. Reiji calls it out for what it is. It's a fucking excuse. Right? Right here. He gets the credit card. I feel kind of guilty about having her help me get a card. Oh, no. I was going to get this card regardless. It's not only for Mizuhara's sake. His favorite fucking excuse. Right? And Ruka is, oh, was there somewhere else I wanted to go? Anywhere is fun when I'm with Kazuya. It's cute. She enjoys his company, right? Let's use the elevator. They get into a small space. Right? Isn't this interesting? They get into a small space, and what happens? Kazuya is not paying attention to Ruka. He's so fixated on what he wants, right? Kazuya is so focused on what he wants. He's happy about getting what he wants. He's not paying attention to Ruka in a small private space. And she kisses him, right? Because he's so focused on what he wants. He's not paying attention to her. And he's surprised. And she's like, sorry, you look so happy. It was really cute. Congrats. Do you not feel like an asshole yet? Right? Man, Rikuchan's too cute. I've already told her that I love Mizuhara, and yet she still wants to be with me. She's nothing short of an angel. That's exactly why something needs to change. I have to end this trial girlfriend relationship as soon as possible. It's for Rikuchan's sake too. Okay, he knows what the solution is. He knows it has to end. This is wrong. It's getting too serious. This is wrong. If I started dating Mizuhara for real, then Rikuchan would give up, right? No. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. That's not going to happen. Right? That's a lie. You're lying to yourself. I have to make sure that my date with Mizuhara goes well. I have to. So he justifies the credit card. And then, as karmic justice for this bullshit, because he's not even cherishing Chizuru at this point, he's just cherishing what he wants, right? He's not cherishing Ruka or Chizuru. He's just doing this for what he wants. He drops the keys because he's talking about becoming serious with Chizuru. But is that the right thing? Okay, so do you see what the problem is with this? He thinks the right way to do this for Ruka is if he starts dating Chizuru. First off, how's that fair to Chizuru? How's that fair to Chizuru? Right? Oh, so you don't want to deal with Ruka. You want to deal with Ruka once you get with me. Right? Ruka, and that's not Chizuru saying this. That's not Chizuru saying this. I'm saying this. It's if the basis for why he wants to date Ruka is so he could resolve. If the basis for why he wants to date Chizuru is to resolve the Ruka situation, then you're not getting into the relationship for the right reasons. You're getting into the relationship to resolve a problem, not to actually be with this person because you want to be with this person. You're doing it to resolve a problem. Reiji was already showing you signs right here. They're not going to get into a relationship like this. That wasn't going to happen. They were not going to get into a relationship like this because that's not how you start a fucking relationship. Oh, I'm doing this so, like, you know, if I started dating her for real, she'd give up, right? How is that fair to Ruka? You should confront her honestly. Right? Right? Chizuru should too. Don't get me wrong. Chizuru should give Ruka a common courtesy and just like explain like she's gonna date Kazuya and all that. But Kazuya should confront Ruka about this, that this isn't real. Instead, he keeps walking with her and focusing on the credit card and what he wants, right? I'll put it in my wallet. I know you're gonna lose it. No, it'll be fine. Oh, let's look around a bit more, right? He's lying to her. This is wrong. Right? Because she's getting serious about him. And that's why it's an issue. Yes, Ruka created this and she's living an illusion, but how Kazuya is treating Ruka is wrong. And that's why he drops his keys, because he's not cherishing Chizuru and he's not cherishing Ruka. He's not being honest to either of them. He's just getting what he wants. That's the issue. Kazuya's just getting what he wants. He's not cherishing either, and he doesn't realize that when he's giving out these kinds of signals, he's leading her on. That's kind of the issue. So when he gives her the key and doesn't even consider that this might fucking happen because he didn't cherish the key and he just handed it over to Ruka and he dropped it too, right? Reiji's like, okay, Mizuhara bought that for me, or at least I think it was for me, and it's super important. Chizuru is literally like, this is for you. You should have it as a gift. Keep it for you. She's like, consider it a gift, right? Ruka is like, you know, you're acting weird, right? She's starting to notice. She's like, okay, this is getting fucking weird, right? This is getting weird. And why are you so desperate? Are you still hiding something from me, right? She's starting to notice. He's hiding shit. It's so clear he's fucking hiding shit. Shit, she's gonna get suspicious again if I get worked up. That's not it, right? It's still, I've got to do it. Just give it back, right? He had to make a choice, right? Kazuya had to make a choice. Reiji specifically draws him as kind of childish here. Geez, you're so weird, Kazuya. Thank goodness he got it back. And then, what's this kid from again? what's this kid from again? Again, it's supposed to be an element of karmic justice. Like, okay, Kazuya got it back. Great. You still lied to Ruka, so... you still lied to Ruka, so... get fucked, buddy. Right, so that happens. He drops it, and he's about to lose it. Right? Now Kazuya is really... like, now Kazuya gets it. So, this is the funny part about this scene. So many people are like, oh, Chizuru would only cherish Kazuya if she was about to lose him. Right? Didn't so many people say that, right? Oh, Chizuru should be afraid of losing Kazuya. She should come this close to losing Kazuya, then she'll cherish him. The irony of your words is that that's literally Kazuya. That's literally Kazuya. Because he's clearly not actually cherishing Chizuru that much. Right? He took the entire month for granted. He had a month to figure this shit out. He took it for fucking granted. He didn't do anything until near the end. Literally, it's about to end, and then he does something. And it's the same thing right here. If you think Chizuru doesn't cherish Kazuya, you're dead fucking wrong. Why? I don't know. Go back to Hawaiians. Go back to, what did Chizuru do in Hawaiians? Right? Literally constantly dealing with mommy's bullshit solo, just so he doesn't get hurt. Right? Just so he doesn't get hurt. She's dealing with mommy's bullshit solo. Literally tanking this shit for him. Right? Just so he doesn't get hurt. And then she gets ostracized in public. And then the moment he starts getting blamed, she kisses him. Right as he starts getting blamed, and she's like, "No, it's my fault." Right? It's wrong to say it's all your fault. And then she literally starts feeling guilty and terrible about everything because she believes it's all her fault that she's doing this to him, when it's not. So who's the one not cherishing who? Right? Who's the one not cherishing who? Right? And there's so many signs Chizuru clearly fucking cherishes him. Like, a lot. He means the fucking world to her. But she feels bad because she doesn't want to lead him on. She wants him to be happy. She's willing to sacrifice herself for him. Right? Because he did that for her. She sees how hard he's fucking tried for her. Right? And she doesn't feel like she deserves that. So, Kazuya, in contrast, is literally not valuing this Chizuru. It's literally portrayed through the trinkets and the things she gives him. Right? The charms that she gives him, the fucking keychain that she gives him. Until he's about to fucking lose it. Right? He's this close to fucking losing it. And then just when he gets it, he falls onto Ruka, because Ruka kind of created this scenario. Right? Ruka kind of created this scenario. Ruka realizes what just happened as a byproduct of her own actions in some ways, right? She freaks, right? And in freaking out, right? You see it right here. You see it right here. Like, oh, that sensation was weird for her, right? And Ruka's whole thing is a physical element. Ruka's whole thing is very much a physical element. Ruka's love is very much conveyed through the physical. And so for her, it's all about getting these like new experiences, right? Hugging, touching, it's literally physically being close to him. So when she felt that between her legs, when she felt him there, this was kind of a lot, right? She felt overwhelmed. I'm sorry, I tripped. Are you hurt? Gah, what just happened? Right? Ruka blushes like crazy. This couldn't have gone worse. Right? Later that night, are you using the keychain? Yeah! Lying to her. Still. Not using it. That's going to be another thing. So when Ruka inevitably goes to Kazuya's house, let's say, for instance, she sees the key. The key is going to look different, and it's not going to have the keychain. It's not going to have either keychain for that matter. Huh. Red flag 1. Kazuya is going to look completely different. Red flag 2. Kazuya is taking driving school. Red flag 3. That's 3 things that are completely different about him. Red flag 4. He didn't tell you where his house was. Right? You only just found out recently. Why was he keeping that a secret? Right? Why was he keeping that a secret? Huh? How many secrets is he actually keeping from you? Did you? And that's where something for Ruka happens. Ruka chose to look away from the secrets, right? She kind of knew. Like it's on Kazuya, yes, but she should have kind of known. Yeah, Kazuya was lying to her, but she kind of chose to look away, right? Ruka kind of chose to look away. So it's a little bit on her, and she's probably gonna think I'm pretty fucking stupid, aren't I? You know, for thinking this was real. I feel pretty fucking stupid now, don't I? Right? And then of course, eventually, Ruka might probably find the Chizuru list, right? Ruka would probably find the Chizuru list. There's also his fridge. Oh fuck me! I didn't even think. Oh my god. So what do you mean? You're probably wondering what the fuck am I talking about? You're probably wondering what the fuck I'm talking about. This is literally in Kazuya's fridge. If Ruka so much as opens that fridge, she'll see this. Dude, there are so many things that could go wrong, and we probably considered none of them. There are so many fucking things that could go wrong, and we considered none of them. To be fair, Ruka is a gullible kid that has never experienced betrayal. No, Ruka is more adult than she appears. Like, Ruka is young and... I wouldn't say Ruka is gullible, actually. Ruka is actually quite aware. She's not actually that gullible. She's actually pretty smart. And I think it's because ever since she was a kid, she's felt betrayed. That's actually pretty wrong. I actually completely disagree with that. Ever since Ruka was a kid, she's experienced betrayal. Because constantly she's being treated like she's different. Constantly she's being told you can't do this, you can't do that. When your parents take things away from you and don't let you do things as a kid, it makes you feel betrayed. So Ruka's always felt betrayal. That's why she's always assumed the worst in people. When it came to like rental, when it came to like Curry, when she runs into Curry during Hawaiians, she assumes the worst. So no, Ruka is quite aware of betrayal. She's actually experienced quite a lot of betrayal. But it would hurt so much more if it was Kazuya who betrayed her. Because she thought he was her soulmate. When in reality, in some ways, she was lying to herself. And she was living a lie. But Kazuya was also, like, you know, creating this lie. There's a lot of self-reflection happening here. And I think what's fascinating about Ruka's situation is the best way I can put it for you is that it's pretty much Chizuru's situation. She pretty much understands how Chizuru feels now. In the sense that she has like the reverse of what Chizuru had. Ruka thinks her relationship is real now, when in reality it was always the closer to rental. Right? So now she gets how Chizuru feels, where she has this relationship that feels real with Kazuya and then a relationship that feels fictional with him. Because she has the real thing and then she has rental. So now she gets it. In contrast, Chizuru actually understands how Ruka feels now. Because Chizuru is dating Kazuya, and yet she never feels like she's enough. She doesn't feel like she's doing enough. So now Chizuru gets Ruka. Right? Chizuru actually completely understands Ruka now. She's constantly thinking about her, not realizing she's actually quite like her now. They both understand each other much better now. Right? Ruka might actually be able to understand Chizuru a whole lot better. In contrast, Kazuya might actually be able to understand Mami and Chizuru a lot better. Because Kazuya is essentially doing what Mami did to him. He's not serious about Ruka. He should probably just end it. But he's taking too long. Just as Mami maybe took a little too long. Right? Mami probably took a little too long. Got let Kazuya get a little too invested. And then suddenly broke up with him and it fucking hurt a whole lot more. Right? And what was Mami's reasoning for breaking up with him? I have someone else. What was Kazuya planning to do to Ruka? Oh, I'm dating Chizuru now. Let's break up. She'll give up now, right? Like you gave up, right? Right? When mommy broke up with you, you sure gave up really fucking easy afterwards, right, Kazuya? It sure took you a while to fucking give up afterwards, right, Kazuya? Yeah, Ruka will totally just fucking give up afterwards, right? He's belittling her feelings. Wouldn't that feel like a slap to the face? Doesn't that feel like a slap to the face? Like if someone says, "Oh, they'll just give up if they see that I'm dating someone else," right? Yeah, sure. They'll just roll with it, right? He's essentially saying, "Oh, if I cheat, she'll let go." Like the fuck, Kazuya. So that's what I mean. Is like what's happening with Kazuya is he's essentially cheating on Ruka. His relationship with Ruka is essentially built on cheating. Because she is becoming serious about him, and yes, she's living in an illusion. I point that out very clearly. She's living in an illusion too. But she's serious. And he's kind of belittling these feelings. And so now Ruka is getting to that point. Like literally, I think these next few chapters are going to be a massive turning point. Because Ruka is very, very serious now. And Kazi is just going to be fucking, oh shit. But instead of taking charge of the situation, he won't. And Ruka's going to find out on her own. So rather than Kazuya being indecisive or doing nothing with Ruka, what's going to happen is, just like with Chizuru, just like with Mommy, it's going to be decided for him. With Chizuru, she kissed him. He chose to do nothing. He did, however, tell Minnie about it. So what did Minnie do? Minnie went to Chizuru, and then Chizuru had to decide. So it was decided for him. Right? Chizuru got a call. Chizuru got the whole play thing. Right? And Chizuru is never actually needed to be separated during a play thing. If anything, it's actually more distracting to her. If you go back throughout the series, there were very clear scenes where Chizuru being separated from Kazuya during like a play or something is actually distracting for her. Case in point, her birthday. Right? Her own birthday was distracting for her. Right? Like, if you reread the series, you can get clues as, Chizuru is going through shit she doesn't need to. Right, so after Ruka stays over at Kazuya's place, how fitting, Chizuru overhears, and she tells to Kazuya, "It's fine, you don't need to lie to me," right? She walks away, and because Kazuya doesn't tell her he loves her, and doesn't clear it up for her, Chizuru is studying for the Red Ranger stuff, right? This is definitely how it is. A wallet of red. She keeps fucking hearing in her head. She keeps getting distracted. Concentrate. She can't focus. Now, what are you seeing now with Chizuru in the current storyline? She can't fucking focus. So Chizuru didn't need to do that, but Kazuya chose to do nothing. So first she gets a call. Then Minnie goes to Chizuru and essentially decides for Kazuya. She tells Chizuru what Kazuya is feeling, which is not what he's feeling. Right? And Chizuru decides for him because he refuses to decide. Mommy asks Kazuya a question. "Are you still in love with me?" And Mommy has to decide for him because he doesn't say anything. Kazuya refuses to make a choice, and so everybody is deciding for him. And he's not going to realize how painful that is until eventually it's decided for him by Ruka. And she's going to get hurt. And he's not going to be happy about it. It's going to fucking suck. Right? Literally, Kazuya kept waiting with Ruka. And this is, to me, like, here, there's one particular sign that this is not going to be good. And it's literally the fact that Kazuya says right here, "Until July 11th, I've got to keep my guard up and keep things quiet." That's not going to happen. Right? Because every time Kazuya has said this, it's not happened. Right? I had like a better reasoning, but I kind of like lost track of my thoughts. But literally, like, he's like, "Okay, I'm going to do this." He's not going to do this. Because what happened with the Ruka thing? He said, I've got to keep this thing a secret. What was happening in in those 2 chapters? I've got to keep this thing a secret. It's not that's not going to happen. Literally, this is going to blow up. This thing is going to blow up. Like, next chapters are not going to, they're going to be a total fucking mess. Right? No, next chapters are going to be a total fucking mess. Like, literally, the Kazuya saying this is literally telling you, oh, nothing's going to stay quiet. Right? And he says this as he talks to Ruka on speakerphone. He says this while talking to Ruka on speakerphone. No, this is totally going to blow up in his face. Like, big time. I genuinely doubt the next few chapters are going to be chill. They're not. This is gonna blow up in his fucking face. And I can feel it. I can definitely feel it. Especially considering, like, you know, it's almost, you know what's fitting? It's almost like Kazuya is like an infection. Weirdly enough. And I get it, that's kind of like a weird thing to say, but it's because of this. It's because of this static. Right? The static effect on Ruka. It's literally like it's literally like the static is consuming her, and literally it's because he touched her. Right? And because Kazuya touched her, this is happening. And this is what kind of want to introduce something to you. The cover of the chapter suddenly makes a lot of more sense. The cover page is like someone observing Kazuya and Mami. Right? It's not your relationship, you're observing a relationship. Okay? The final page is the opposite angle. The final page is literally the reverse. It is like you just turn the camera around. It's like you just turn the camera around. And now it's from Ruka's POV. You're seeing Ruka observe a relationship from the outside. She can't actually touch it or feel it. She tries to emulate the feeling. What does she do? She looks at her phone and she sees a thing that on her phone, right? Just as someone is watching Kazuya and Mami here. It's like she's observing something, not actually feeling it. She wants to feel the real thing. She doesn't have the real thing. It's like you're looking at the past. You're not just looking at the past, you're looking at something you could have. That's what this is. This is something that could happen, right? But it's the past. It's not real. Just as when Ruka looks at her phone to this sample of pornography, it's the past. And she turns away from it. She doesn't want to look, right? Ruka is looking here, but she can't see, right? She doesn't actually want to look. Just as this person is merely observing, they don't actually want their own thing, right? We're just observers. We're not actually seeing a real thing. Right? To us, this looks like it looks happy. But that's fictional, remember? Remember, Kazuya and Mami's relationship is fictional, right? They both look quite happy. But this was a fucking lie, wasn't it? We're literally looking at them from the window. We're observing them like we're observing a window. We're not seeing something real. We're looking at a lie. It's the same thing with Ruka, right? She thinks she knows what she wants and she turns away from it, right? She tries to recreate a sensation, right? Her eyes are open here. She's talking to Kazuya on the phone, but she's trying to recreate a sensation. He's not actually here, right? And she can't recreate the sensation. And she turns away from that, and then she turns away from this, right? All she can do is, like, squeeze her own hand. What's happening here? Ruka is feeling her own experience, not actually sharing it with Kazuya, right? All she can do is have her own experience, right? She's squeezing her own hand, not actually someone else's, right? With her thighs. Horny. I get it. Cool. Right? So literally, it's literally like you're observing something from the outside. You're only seeing what it appears to be, not what it actually is. right? In a sense, Ruka is literally living a lie, just as this right here is a lie, right? The point of what we're seeing right here is that it's a lie. They look happy. In that moment, maybe they were but in that moment they were In that moment they were, but was the relationship actually happy? Right? And the chapter is built around this. The chapter is literally you looking from a very particular lens, and you're seeing a lie. You're looking from a very particular viewpoint, and you're seeing a lie. Something looks one way, and it could in fact be something completely different. You think you understand what's going on, but what if this is completely different? Right? Because you're seeing mommy's eyes looking at Kazuya. What if that's what mommy was seeing the whole time? Kazuya's hair. What if Kazuya's hair defined this entire interaction? Right? And then you see mommy doesn't even understand what she just did. But what is she referring to here? I said something strange again. Is she referring to the question she posed? Is she referring to the compliment about his hair? What is mommy referring to here? You don't know. She never specifies what she's talking about here. It's not in the Japanese either. Right? She never specifies what the fuck she's referring to here. She just said she says something weird again. And it looks like Chizuru. But is it? Is it like Chizuru? Or is this completely different? Right? You think you know what's going on here. You're wrong. Right? That's to me is what Reiji's showing us. He's showing you a very particular lens. And he makes you think you understand what's happening. You don't. Right? You actually don't know what's happening here. Right? And you're getting very clear signs. You don't know what's happening here. And then Ruka shows up. Right? Ruka calls Kazuya right as this happens. And you think you understand what's going on with Ruka too. You think you understand what's going on with Ruka too. What if you're wrong? Right? Ruka says she wants to try sex. Does she? Is this about sex, or what is this actually about? Because this, right, Ruka's house. Do you know when we last saw Ruka's house? Her actual introductory chapter. Straight up, her introductory chapter. That's when we last saw Ruka's place. It's chapter 28. Ruka's house. Right? Her mom takes something away from her. Right? Her mom is not letting her have experiences. It's not that I'm not allowed to do it. I can't do it. I want to try having my heart beat as fast as it can. Ruka, don't be selfish. Right? That's perceived as selfish by her mom. So us going back to that, Ruka, this is what Ruka thinks she wants. Is it what Ruka actually wants? Right? As I got older, there were less hindrances on my day-to-day life, and I was able to decide for myself what I could do, what I could and couldn't do. I had to check up every month, and I have a little bit of medicine. By the time I was in high school, my parents were fairly used to it as well. They let me do what I wanted to an extent. If I didn't think about it, it was like it wasn't there. Right? She goes on a ride. Her heart doesn't beat like everybody else. It's like I'm a robot. No matter what I was thinking, it felt like everyone else was having just a little bit more fun. She tried rental dating. Nothing happened. I'll just live normally, right? What is this guy so serious about a rental? 79. My heart beats slowly. Now that I've found my special someone, I, Sarishna Ruka, will continue to search for even more heart-pounding experiences. Now, there's something I don't remember. In Steins Gate, Did the girl Miyaru? I don't remember her name exactly. Did she have some sort of condition too? Or was she like suffering from grief or something? I don't remember. Let me look it up. Steins Gate. Mayuri. Is it Mayuri? Mayuri? Okay, can you go away? Thank you. Part-time worker, blah, 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 blah. Short girl with black hair that forms fringes that sweeps from either side. Mayuri's outfit is simple, comfortable, personality. Mayuri possesses an extremely childish and naive attitude for her age. While this may have something to do with her inability to accept the death of her grandmother when she was young, Alkaba states at one point that she was always been a little bit different. Though he never got into any details beyond this, Mayuri has a great fondness for cute things like upas and likes to give cute nicknames to familiar people, like Okarin for Okaba, being a Parmesan of the last first name. Okay, yeah. She also has a moral compass and becomes anxious and unhappy whenever Okaba does something bad, such as hacking into Soren's files. Although she does not do much beyond chiding him for it, she often seems to forget about it after while or when she converses, topic changes and she holds a grudge. Though appearing as one of the less intelligent members of the tab, according to Okuba, Miyori is actually very perceptive, often being surprisingly quick to catch things no one else notices and being good at understanding how others feel. Korosu comments on this, stating that while everyone else was concerned with the phone wave, Miyori continued to take matters to heart. This is shown when she was the one who managed to figure out that Doru was Suzuha's father before anyone else. Mayuri was also also does not question Daru's perverted comments and mannerisms much, or is not anyway offended by them. Despite her apparent ditziness, Mayuri is distinctly aware of the fact that she is the least intelligent member of her group and struggles with a feeling of uselessness. This is sure sounding a lot like Ruka. Oh man, this sure sounds a lot like Ruka. Holy shit. According to Suzuha, Miyori is the future would frequently comment on her own uselessness with the depressed expression. In Steins Gate Zero, upon hearing the truth about why Okubo chose to the beta attractor field, she feels as though Korosu had more of a right to live than her, as she was much more useful. Despite her quirkiness, he's also responsible for Okuba's well-being, usually tending to his needs in mutual bouts of gratitude. In Steins Gate Zero, Miyori shows a great concern for Okuba's well-being after Korosu's death. Near the end of the game, she confesses that she has more than a deep platonic feelings, proclaiming her love for Okuba to be superior to Korosu's, yet wanting him to be happy with Korosu even if it's meant her death. Oh my god. Dude, this is just Ruka, what the fuck? This is so similar to Ruka. That's crazy. This is so similar to Ruka. That's crazy. And literally, like, the thing I remember from Steins Gate is that Okuba was trying to keep her happy. Okuba kept acting and trying to keep her happy until they hit a breaking point, right? They pretty much hit a breaking point, and she pretty much called him out on his bullshit. So that to me is where I feel like the Ruka thing is headed. You know, Ruka definitely feels like kind of useless at times, even though she is like the most outspoken and loud in the group, right? Like, she is kind of part of like a group, and she's like the most outspoken and loud, more than like Minnie, and she's honest to herself. But you know, it's clear that there are differences. Of course, they're not the same character. It's just they have similarities. In particular, like, Ruka isn't really ditzy. Ruka isn't really ditzy. Ruka is actually quite aware, and she's actively quite aware. Like, she's very aware of her surroundings. She is the youngest, and she's actually quite smart too. But my point is, that I'm trying to highlight is that, like, there is a similarity between these two characters where it feels like that lie is about to break because Kazuya is trying so hard to save Ruka. In reality, he's actually like hurting her, right? He's trying so hard to help her, he's actually hurting her. And there's no way to really truly save Ruka in that sense, right? Because to save her, he has to like actually acknowledge himself, right? And Ruka will have to want to be saved in a sense, right? So basically, to me, what this is in Steins Gate, there is a loop. In that loop, near the end of the loop, I forgot how they got to that point. Near the end of the loop, basically, Mayuri keeps dying. And Okuba keeps trying to find a way to stop her from dying. And he literally fucking can't. He no matter what he does, no matter what timeline he goes to, no matter what he fucking does, he can't stop her from dying. Isn't that literally similar to what's going on with Kazuya and Ruka right now? Not in the sense that she's literally dying, but like the relationship is dead. And Kazuya keeps trying to preserve it. And he fucking can't. There's no way to preserve this. Right? Her giving up, that's not gonna fucking happen. Right? There's no way to keep this quiet. That's not gonna happen. Right? There's no way to really save this. You have to let it end for it to begin anew. And that's kind of what ultimately has to happen in Steins Gate. He essentially had to let her go in order to actually save her. And create the proper timeline where she's saved. So that's literally, I think, what's going on with Ruka. It's like, it's about a choice. It's about making a choice and making the choice that you know is right. Not just like, because in not choosing, you're choosing. In not choosing, you're choosing. Kazuya in not choosing is choosing. Kazuya in not choosing to do anything is making a choice. Kazuya is doing it for himself just like Okuba did. Correct. Yeah. You do find out like at a later point with Okuba that like theoretically he wasn't doing it for himself. He was doing it for her. He was acting for her. And it's like, it's kind of sweet in a way, but at a point it did become just for him. That's the truth. Is like at a point it did just become for him. And Mayuri knew this. She kept playing along with it too. Right? Yeah, he did hurt her, but Mayuri did also play along with it too, just like Ruka is. Right? But Ruka is getting serious now, and it's all about to break. I hope we aren't getting a literal Ruka heart attack in chapter 4 and 4. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think it's like going to be an actual heart attack. But us going back to Ruka's heart is kind of an important thing, right? Us going back to Ruka's heart is kind of an important thing. I think something is going to happen. Kazuya's going to hurt Ruka in some way. And it's gonna connect to her family somehow, and how they were like telling her like don't do this, don't do that. So she might like get scolded by her family. Maybe something could happen. A lot could happen. I feel like there's a lot of setup for the Ruka thing. You know, there's a great deal of setup for what's going on with the Ruka thing. And it's not as simple as it appears. And I feel like there's a lot in this chapter that I started to kind of notice right after. Like there's a lot of important details, in particular that lens of like us seeing things in a very particular way, right? Kazuya not saying anything, Mami reacting to Kazuya not saying anything, and then taking matters into her own hands. Like Mami saying, "Oh, actually, never mind," is pretty much just okay. He wasn't gonna answer, and then she commented on his hair. What if her saying "I said something strange again" was her commenting on his hair, not the question? What if she actually meant that question? Right? What if she actually meant that question? And it's actually the hair that was the thing that she considered weird. Right? Why did I comment on the hair? It's almost like the hair is actually like a driving force to you, because it's actually deciding a lot of how you feel, right? Because he starts looking like someone else, right? And I think the point of Mami stepping over this thing, and that's when she says that, is that she literally stepped on different ground, right? She was walking on the same ground prior, and the moment she stepped on slightly different ground, the moment she crossed this particular kind of ground, she started thinking differently, because she started like thinking inward. The ground isn't solid anymore, right? So suddenly she starts thinking differently. What else? You can go about a relationship by always prolonging the unavoidable truth. That's how they end up saying the friendship ends immediately after on top of the relationship. What? You should rewrite that, because I don't understand. Kazuya is doing it for himself like Akaba did. So will we be somewhat done with Ruka, at least from Kazuya's side? Then it'll at least be wait till Chizuru joins Kazuya and both are over. No. No, that's not gonna happen. I think Ruka is gonna be a much bigger playing card than we realize. So I think what's gonna happen after this is Kazuya is gonna maybe try to save Ruka somehow, like try to make up for it or something. But he can't. There's no fixing this. There's not gonna be any fixing this. Not in the normal sense. I think Ruka's gonna need some time. I think that's what's gonna happen is like Kazuya might do something and Ruka might need a little bit of time, but there's gonna be a bit of focus on Ruka, right? And next chapter is 402. Oh man. 402. Chizuru's room number is 204. Ruka is doing the reverse of Chizuru. I was explaining to you earlier how Ruka is the reverse of Chizuru. Ruka has cat clothes on. Her bed has a bunch of cat-themed stuff on it. She's literally reverse Chizuru. She even looks like Chizuru. With the feelings and the emotions, she's literally her reverse. And how Kazuya handles Ruka is how Kazuya is handling Chizuru. So next chapter, 402, literally what's happening is that it's Ruka essentially being Chizuru's. It's like it's inverted. It's not just reversed. Right? Or maybe it's both. I don't know. But literally next chapter is gonna be like, it's going to be connected to Chizuru somehow. It's going to be like the reverse of Chizuru somehow, right? Ruka might dress in a very particular way that could be similar to Chizuru. She could be trying to get him to like her, right? Or to make him happy in some way, just like Chizuru was trying to make Kazuya happy, right? Ruka might be trying to give him a gift just as Chizuru wanted to give Kazuya a gift. There's probably going to be a lot of parallels between Ruka and Chizuru next chapter. And I think that's going to be the point, and it's going to be building to it's 4 first. So it's 402, not 204. And it's a kind of like death, if you will, right? And interestingly, chapter 204 actually connects to this somehow. Well, not somehow, like I know how, but give me a sec, I'll pull it up. So this might reverse chapter 204. How, you might be asking? It's Ruka talking to Grandma Nagomi. Grandma Nagomi says, I wonder how Grandma would feel if she found out Chizuru's son was a rental girlfriend. Maybe she'd cry. She might even get angry. At this point, she wouldn't even believe it at all. I wonder how Ruka would feel if she found out Chizuru was still around. But those two are deceiving her. That's not fair. Huh. But Kazuya and Chizuru are deceiving Ruka. That's not fair. Of course, I've never wanted to make Grandma sad, but if I could fill the gap where Chizuru's son used to be, if I could make up for the sadness she'll leave behind, you can never do that. That's right. We never finished our conversation before, did we? Very well. Let's pick up where we left off. In your eyes, what would you need to see in a girl so she makes the cut for marriage? I mean, for Kazuya's son to marry him, to make the cut. That's a surprise. So you came out to find out for her. Don't you worry, Chizuru-san has exceeded any expectations like that. No, that's not it. I'm not just Chizuru-san's friend. I'm Kazuya's girlfriend. Are we seeing some similarities here? Then say, what if Chizuru-san was lying? Lying about something big, something she couldn't even tell you. Huh. What if Kazuya was lying to Ruka about something big, something he can't tell her? Well, is she? It's just a what if. I should have expected nothing less from her friend. You say the same exact thing. Chizuru-san asked me about this before too. What if she were lying, she said. I see. Chizuru-san's not sure what to do either. Huh. Chizuru actually doesn't know what to do about Ruka either. Huh. So, it's like this isn't really Chizuru's fault. And it's like Ruka is deceiving herself. I told her that I'd love her even if she were an alien in disguise, which may be an exaggeration, but it's no lie. I find it hard to believe that a woman such as her wouldn't have had a partner before Kazuya. I understand that it would be hard for her to talk about me about previous experiences with men. No, that's not what this is about. The relationship itself is the lie. Hey, Ruka. The relationship you have right now is a lie. The very foundation of your relationship is a lie. Well, did I hit the mark? I can't tell her. I worry too sometimes. A woman of her caliber truly deserving of the word perfect. I wonder if one day I'll blink and she'll be gone, disappeared, just like a dream leaving behind only her scent. What if Ruka just gone? She considered the possibility Chizuru-san could leave. That means, would you be okay with that? Even if she did, Kazuya would marry another woman. We would hold a grand ceremony, and the woman would become the heir to the Kinoshita family. That's me. That could be me. Could. And then some years later, I would hear some gossip that Chizuru-san had tied the knot with another man, had children, had a happy life. I think I could do it. I'm sure I could say I'm happy for her. I wish for her to find the happiness no matter what form it may take. I simply think that it would be best if it were with Kazuya, and then that would be even better. Isn't she describing literally what Ruka feels? Isn't she describing literally what Umi said? Right? I'm sure I could say I'm happy for you. I wish for her to find happiness whatever form it may take. I just want that happiness to be with me. Or not with me. Well, that's what Umi said. But with Kazuya in this case. Right? For Nagomi, it's a selfless selfishness. It's a selfless selfishness. It's selfless in that it's for her grandson. And she wants Chizuru to be part of her family. Right? But it's selfish because this is what she wants, you know? Let's stop by the stands. Let's go, Ruka Dono. There's all sorts of things at the stands that'll be a blast. It's almost as if she's her real daughter. But if I could just give up, I would have done that a long time ago. I think it's now or never for me. Huh. If I could just give up, I would have done that a long time ago. Hey, Kazuya. It's almost like your logic is fucking stupid. I mean, more than anyone else, I've always, right? Grandma, I want to ask you one more thing. Whoa, even the water here is their own stuff. Right? So they have I forgot all about the room problem. Is she really okay with this? Huh? Okay, so let me turn on the lights real quick. Hold on a sec. Let me turn on the lights real quick. Okay. Yeah, it looks better now. Looks better now. So, what happens here? There's a bit of a room problem. Let's have a drink back in our rooms. You're coming too, right? Let him his alone time. Let him have his alone time with Chizuru-san. Dumbass, read the room a little bit. Ah, shit. I forgot all about the room problem. Is she really okay with this? Ruka's distracted. Right? Ruka's distracted. Kazuya and Ruka are about to share a fucking room. Right? Kazuya and Chizuru are about to share a room, and then Ruka gets in between that. Now it's the reverse. Right, now it's the reverse. Kazuya is about to share a room with Ruka in private, and it's just them. And he never considers that. Oh shit, there's a fucking problem. Does she seem kind of down? Now that I think about it, she was talking to Grandma earlier. Is she okay? What if the role is reversed here? Right? What if Ruka's acting different, and Kazuya notices, hey, something's weird. Why is she acting different now? Right? But it's time she's not down. Ruka-chan, is something wrong? Oh no, I'm fine. That's right, Curry Dono. We should allow the two their private time. But then Ruka realizes. Right? And then Ruka wants to stay with them. I thought to impose on Chizuru-san, Kazuya-san, and stay in their room for tonight. Right? But what about your room, Sarishna-san? I just got so lonely on my own. I feel bad you had to pay for it, but I'm not worried about that. But are you two okay with that? Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm sure Ruka-chan would be really lonely on her own. We don't mind. Right, Kazuya-san? She's gonna fucking kill me. Jesus Christ. She's gonna fucking kill me. Right? But literally, Chizuru feels like she owes her in some ways, right? She doesn't want to hurt Ruka, so she feels like she owes her. She feels guilty about it. Well, I guess I'd miss my chance to confess. There's no way Ruka-chan would let that happen. In fact, considering the rental girlfriend guidelines, you could even call this a lifesaver. Yeah, we don't mind at all. I see. Are you sure? But you're in your prime. What are you double checking for, right? This is so great. Well, if you two say so, I suppose I would feel bad leaving Ruka Dono there. Right? Ruka wants to have a pillow fight. Because she's young. There's like a youth to her. There's a cuteness to her. What kind of nerve do you gotta have to try and sleep next to someone else's boyfriend anyway? You're just a rental. Huh. She's sleeping next to her boyfriend. It might be the three of us now, but this still means I'm sleeping in the same room as two beautiful girls. This doesn't exactly help me fall asleep either. I wonder how Mizuhara feels. Was she pushed pretty hard? She was pushed pretty hard into using the double bedroom. Whoa, Ruka-chan, already asleep. I guess it makes sense. She had been going out all night. She's been at the pool all day, so no wonder she's tired. Well, she's quiet like this. She really does look amazing. Why do a girl like that fall for a guy like me, of all people? I guess I'll go out to get some water. And then Chizuru gets up. Okay. What are the odds that Ruka's coming over to Kazuya's house at the same time, like literally as a flip of this chapter, where she talked to Nagomi about not being a replacement, or sorry, about replacing Chizuru, and then she stays in the same room as him. What are the fucking odds? Right, we're totally gonna reverse this chapter. Like, I can totally see it happening. I would not be surprised. I wonder if there's like a parallel between this chapter and chapter 104. I'll go check. Let me. $104. I think that's that's around the time the movie started. Kazuya and Chizuru go out to dinner and they talk about the movie. Let's get things straight. Wasn't that technically what Mommy was trying to do? I'll do it. I'll make it properly. Saying that you'll make a movie is completely different than actually being able to make one. Things like finding staff, selecting a script, gathering cast members, even editing photo shoots and doing other jobs. There's a lot to do, right? There's a lot to do. What is Kazuya struggling with right now in the story? What happened in this story, right? Kazuya, damn it, there's so much to do. And you really complete the crowdfunding campaign? Yep. I've already heard a lot of times before crowdfund recently. It's a platform that allows people to do that stuff. Right? Kazuya planned it. Chizuru comes close to him. And one more thing. What's up? Don't speak a word about this to Grandma Nagomi. Right? Chizuru tries to split the bill with him. Right? Kazuya doesn't let her. Mizuharu's dream. Hey, Mizuharu, you're really doing fine. If you're feeling down, you can come to your neighbor. Isn't that the same thing? Yeah, I'm perfectly fine. Mizuharu's move. Right? Oh! Look at that. Would you look at that? Would you look at the parallels? Chizuru gets home. She's thinking about what Kazuya said. How do I even react? I'm so stupid. Huh. I said something strange. I'm so stupid. How's it going to turn out? Whereas Kazuya is determined here, right? Whereas Kazuya is very determined here, Kazuya here is quite distracted and not determined. Literally a completely different person, right? Literally a completely different person. There's a sense of focus to this chapter where there's no focus in this one. Wow. There are parallels. That's wild. That's kind of cool. It's kind of cool how those chapters like connect. There's like, is Reishi intentionally making these coincidences with how he makes connections with the chapters? Yeah, no, it's definitely intentional. He's clearly called back to the fucking movie arc. Like, he totally called back to the movie arc multiple times on purpose. And then now he has Kazuya going through a transformation to become a better man. In contrast to the movie arc, where what is he doing? Right? He's doing stuff. Right? Now he's like, in the movie arc, he was making a movie that also had a lot of stuff to do. Right? He also had a lot of stuff to do. But here he feels overwhelmed, whereas there he feels much more certain. He knows he can pull it off, whereas here he can't pull it off. Right? Here Kazuya is doing too much for no reason. Whereas there he's doing a lot, but it's for himself and there's a sense of focus. Whereas here there's no focus. Right? And 204, getting to be 402 next time, returning to the beginning like that. That's cool. There's so much happening. Like, this is definitely Kazuya and Chizuru's love story for sure. But is this still a love story of Kazuya and Chizuru, or just a story about love? Story got so different from like the first part of the series where the story feels like it's Kazuya. It's, if you genuinely think this is not a Kazuya and Chizuru story, I'm sorry. Like, you're just kind of inserting your own narrative. That's literally never changed. It's like you're just conveniently ignoring the cohabitation, which lasted hundreds of chapters. And these characters did not get involved at all. Also, you're conveniently forgetting the beginning of the series, where these characters were much more involved. That's a very strange comment. That's a very strange comment. Because it was literally like this from the start. This actually feels more evocative of the beginning of the series, while at the same time feeling completely different. Because if you read with the beginning of the story, I'll tell you, it'll feel a little similar to this, because Reiji's intentionally nodding back to the start. He's intentionally nodding back to the start because this is a new beginning. Right now, the story isn't a new beginning. So literally, if you go back, you'll see some similarities, while at the same time, it feels completely different. And it's literally just because you're kind of living through Kazuya's illusions. It's literally always been Kazuya and Chizuru's relationship. He literally said that in that interview I read for you guys. Or not that interview, the Twitter space that he did. He literally said that this has always been Kazuya and Chizuru's story. It's about their love, their bond deepening. So, I don't know what to tell you, bub. So, I wrote a few things. Let's I wrote a few things, so let's read some of those. Actually, I wrote a lot. Yeah, I wrote a whole bunch. Oh, yeah, it was Mommy's birthday. I talked about Mommy's birthday. So I already wrote that. Yep, I already read this. Okay, we can start with this one. Okay, returning to the past. 401 is a journey back to the very beginning, but it's presented through a very particular lens. The core is reclaiming the past. The cover page is Kazuya and Mami's past through a specific angle. The end is Ruka's beginning, her name, her home, her heart, her desire, a place we first saw in chapter 28. We first saw Ruka's home in chapter 28. This was Ruka's backstory. It's so incredibly fitting that we return to a place at a point when Kazuya goes back to his black hair, and the narrative is exploring identity, growing up, change, and the future. This setup is massive. The end of the chapter is of Ruka reaching a point of interest in a new experience, literally like her backstory. She tries to mimic the past, putting a pillow between her thighs to remember a moment, but it doesn't work. She can't go back, yet her hand can't touch the future. And the thing is, the future is she's imagining Kazuya with his old hair is not the future now. She does not know Kazuya changed his hair. She doesn't know he's doing driving school, which raises the question, what else does she not know? For example, Kazuya's list for Chizuru. Ruka's return acts as a direct parallel to Mami's question to Kazuya, do you still love me? And I told you it's because like Kazuya and Mami's relationship literally parallel Kazuya and Ruka's relationship. As you see Kazuya thinking about the confessing to Chizuru before Ruka calls. How fitting considering Ruka trusts him now, yet he does not love her, not even saying I love you back. Just as Mami returns to the past with her question, so too does Ruka literally return to her origins, forgotten just like Mami, yet seeking to take her relationship to the next level with Kazuya, much like his last birthday, reversing those events and thus reversing the outcome. Whether it was in his intention or not, Kazuya has not been fair to Ruka lately, while Ruka has actually been very trusting of him and takes him at his word while he lies to her. This is a callback to chapter. This is called back to in chapter 401, and this to me explains how it will end with Ruka finding Kazuya's list. Many of us expected Mami to be a big deal. We conveniently forgot about Ruka, and rather than causing anything, I think the real tragedy may be Ruka finding out everything she did was so Kazuya could be with Chizuru. He only stayed with her so it wouldn't impact Chizuru. Just like her backstory, she didn't matter. Kazuya wasn't with her because he wanted to be. She didn't help him get better. He never moved on. She was living a lie. On the day she wished to give him the gift of her presence, she finds out her presence was meaningless. This would be quite brutal to say the least. Ruka has visited Kazuya's home before, but she has not seen his new home, the new him. And maybe she will realize she doesn't know him anymore. Who he is now is not who she loved. This perfectly connects to the talk about cheating. It's not about cheating on Chizuru, but rather how technically Kazuya was cheating on Ruka, dating her while seeing another woman behind her back. And she should have known. This act reminds me of Steins Gate because it was referenced and how Okubo was slapped by Mayuri. Mostly, I'm expecting Kazuya to have a rude awakening here, rather than for the status quo to be perpetuated. As Mami was always going to keep it going, but Ruka has wanted to change for a while, and she really wanted to celebrate his birthday with him, so it makes sense. Another thing to quickly point out is that the key Ruka saw. Oh yeah, I already mentioned the key thing. The key that Ruka saw is, just to make sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah, the key Ruka saw isn't the same one. This might be a sign of the lies told. Okay. So I already said that. Oh yeah, Reiji shared this for Mommy's birthday. It's his original draft for Volume 2's cover. Yeah, I already read that. Chizuru worked her butt off. Let's see, time is a focus in the story. How you use time matters. And not choosing it, you choose. When you use your time in one way, you lose it in another. Kazuya's situationships are not totally his fault. What he is choosing to do with them, however, is his responsibility. We must make a choice. We cannot idle by and wait, because that in of itself is a choice. Kazuya waits with Mami and it's decided for him. He waits with Chizuru and Minnie decides for him. Now he waits with Ruka and again it will be decided for him. Only this time it may not end well. Alrighty. Wait, what's this? Oh, that's not this. Ah, yep. Passivity is the enemy of change. Every character is desperately seeking change right now, to the point that they can't even control their own bodies. Yet they resist. Chizuru is passive to Kazuya, but active with herself. Kazuya is passive to himself, but active with everyone else. So this is something you can literally physically see, whereas Chizuru is like literally actively working out and like actively doing things, actively trying to move her body, right? But she doesn't have control over her feelings for Kazuya. In contrast, Kazuya has no control over himself, but he's actively moving around, right? Or I guess that's not quite the same. He's like passive to himself, right? Whereas Chizuru is like active with herself, like she's actively moving around. She's passive to her environment. I'm describing this weird. Kazuya is doing things, but it's not for himself. Chizuru is doing things for herself and for Kazuya. I guess they're kind of like flipped mirrors, if you will, or there is a similarity. There's a very inherent similarity to both Kazuya and Chizuru. I think I say it well here. Kazuya changes his external, but refuses to look at his internal, hoarding control. Chizuru changes her internal, but faces away from her external, right? So Chizuru's external isn't changing. She's just being active with her external. Kazuya's external is literally changing, but he's ignoring his internal. There we go. I think that's a better way to put it. Right. Chizuru is keeping active by literally moving, but losing control all the same, both sacrificing themselves for others in their own opposite ways. Okay, there we go. I said it kind of well there. Good job, past me. Let's see. Ruka doesn't want to look at Chizuru because she knows. Oh, wait. This is up here. I think one reason Ruka. Oh yeah. For some reason this post, it didn't get that many likes, but it reached the annoying people. It went out of its it reached the annoying people. So like some stupid people commented on this post, and I'm like, why? Why did this post randomly reach the weird people? It didn't even like. Oh, damn, it gets a fucking 1,038 views and not many likes. That hurts. Anyways, yeah. I don't know why. Like the stupid people commented on this post. I'm like, why? The fuck. I think one reason Ruka is so trusting of Kazuya now is that she wants to make up for Hawaiians, or the 3 months. She couldn't help him then, so she tries to be the best girlfriend she can be. But the truth is, she isn't truly facing him, just like she isn't facing Chizuru. 244 is the start, and it captures it well, right? So if you remember, what does Ruka say? You've been looking a lot better lately, Kazuya. You were really down for a while, not even showing up for work. I was really worried, you were always in bed, your room was always a mess, no matter what I did. Yeah, she really was concerned. To talk about devotion. Once I learned it was because of Chizuru's son was avoiding you, well, as your girlfriend, I was kind of upset. But it was a lot worse seeing you like that. But, if you've recovered this much, then you're finally over her, right? Nothing. Sorry, I worried you. Seriously, right? He doesn't actually answer her. He doesn't actually fucking answer her. My boyfriend finally escaped the delusion of having a rental girlfriend. Am I finally his one and only? It's happening. Our own story. It's finally about to start. She thinks Kazuya escaped a delusion when she is, in fact, under one. Ruka is conveniently ignoring why Kazuya might be acting different, just as Kazuya ignores how Mami and Ruka impacted Chizuru. Kazuya never answers Ruka. She just believes it. Ruka doesn't want to look at Chizuru because she knows she in part caused this. She is the reason Chizuru feels the need to give Ruka some sort of answer. Ruka in part created the circumstances for the 3 months to happen. She created the very world of illusions she lives in. And isn't Ruka, in some ways, having a reversal now with the 3 weeks, if you will? Isn't she essentially having, it's all coming full circle, if you will, right? She created this illusion for herself at the very start of the cohabitation. We talked about how a huge part of the cohabitation and the date dealt with illusions. It's all a big fucking illusion. The entire cohabitation is called a paradise by Kazuya. Like it's literally perfect and clean and there's no fucking issues. It's all a big illusion. He's living through the Matrix. And what did we say Reishi's doing now with the story? Breaking illusions. The illusions are starting to break. And it's not just happening for Ruka, it's happening for Kazuya too. Right? Everybody's illusions are breaking, including Minnie's and maybe even Chizuru's. I'm not sure. I don't think Chizuru is under Minnie, like an illusion. I think the illusion Chizuru is under is like she's not in love. Maybe that's the illusion Chizuru is under. All right. So Ruka, I said Ruka doesn't. Ruka in part created the circumstances for the 3 months. So now we're reaching the point where that's going to break. Ruka's going to escape her illusion. In the date and the cohabitation, Chizuru kind of learns how Ruka feels in a way, feeling like she's never good enough, trying to live up to Ruka, just as Ruka tries to be better than Chizuru. Secondary, not main. In contrast, Ruka gets how Chizuru feels, being real but fake. Chizuru thinks she needs to face Ruka when I think the truth is Ruka needs to face her and Kazuya. In contrast, what Kazuya needs to face is not Ruka but himself, what he's choosing to do. Chizuru, I think, needs to face Mami and see the truth of her love. Why this is happening. Chapter 303, when Kazuya's moving out date was first set in stone, actually foreshadows the current events. Ruka wanting to go to Kazuya's house, but Kazuya refusing to let her in. This was her getting clues that Kazuya wasn't opening up to her. She knows, but chooses to look away. Possible guilt. Let's see. This guilt that mixes with her own desires, as well as her desires to share things with Kazuya, highlights the issue. When is Ruka doing this for herself, out of guilt, or out of a blind devotion to Kazuya? Mirroring Kazuya and how he acts with Chizuru, not fully seeing her. And then I had, not that post, this one. Ruka's return in chapter 401 is no coincidence. Kazuya and Mami had a fake relationship that was never going to work out because Mami couldn't be serious about him. This directly parallels Kazuya with Ruka. He is being placed in Mami's position and could in turn understand her better. Ruka is being placed in Kazuya's position now. So she kind of gets like how he feels with the Chizuru thing now, but also she understands Chizuru. Right? Ruka's starting to understand both Kazuya and Chizuru better in being placed in their position, because now Ruka understands the breakup he went through with Mami, while at the same time understanding how Chizuru feels in having a real relationship that's fake. Kazuya won't ever be serious about Ruka because he loves Chizuru. This ironically both throws Mami's own actions back at her, but also has Ruka starting to get more serious about Kazuya. She may even consider introducing him to her parents depending on, say, his new hair. Kazuya wanted to introduce Mami to his grandma. In fact, that's the exact line he thinks of just before running into her again. Wanting to introduce Chizuru now, even though he already introduced her to his grandma before. It's as if this was the trigger that ended and began things. We do not know why Mami broke up with Kazuya, but we do know Kazuya kept trying to introduce her to his grandma, and she turned him down. Maybe it happened because suddenly it was getting serious. It mirrors Kazuya now with Ruka. It's getting too serious, emotionally and physically. And interestingly, the narrative Kazuya was given about the breakup is starting to break. He sees Mami with Hakuba, who is connected to the breakup, and Kazuya is clearly curious about Mami's dating life, as he is curious as to why she broke up with him. The boyfriend was the reason. She found someone else. She told him, I found someone else, right? So that was Mami's reasoning. So Kazuya checks if she has a boyfriend, right? Because that connects back to that element of loss that he experienced with Mami. He looks back to that. He searches for that. But his illusion is starting to break, because if he finds out the reason she broke up with him was because of that, suddenly his entire interpretation of events was completely wrong, right? Like, he didn't understand Mami at all. He didn't understand why she broke up with him in the first place. He was completely wrong, just as he's completely wrong about Ruka right now. It literally mirrors his own events and what he's currently doing. This also puts Kazuya in the position of a rental boyfriend, in turn understanding Chizuru as well, Whereas Ruka can understand how the clients she had felt, much of this is about self-reflection. Kazuya, in seeing how he led Ruka on, can see why Chizuru struggled so much. As Chizuru actively went out of her way to try and not give him false hope, her words always told him to temper himself, not to mislead him, but because she didn't want to say yes only for it to be a no. Completely counter to how he handled Ruka. To Kazuya, it's mixed signals. In reality, it wasn't. This is something people don't seem to understand about rental. A big factor of it is the balance of not leading a person on, not giving them false hope it's real, but rather helping them find something real. This is why it always starts with a money and an agreement before beginning. So if you're ready to pay, right? Earlier in the stream, we were literally talking about how Chizuru drew a clear line when giving gifts, right? I'm their girlfriends. It's part of my fucking job. It's what I do. I give gifts. It's platonic. Please fucking understand. Right? And then when Chizuru asks for money here, Kazuya remembers mommy. Damn, I just want to go home. I want to go home and get back to bed. Right? And then suddenly Chizuru starts acting different. Right? She's all happy and Kazuya's having an experience. But you paid for this. Right? You signed the agreement. You paid for this. You were already told this is not real. You're actively being told it's not real. It's an act. And when you cross a certain line, you'll be reminded it's an act, right? Chizuru understands this really well. It's why whenever she does something private with him, she makes sure it's off the clock. So a line is drawn, only for the lines to eventually blur. When Chizuru seeks the real thing, with Chizuru seeking the real thing but struggling to break their relationship free from fiction, from rental. Drawing lines is a big motif. Chapter 400 and 401 show us Kazuya's struggle with drawing clear lines to understanding and relationships, unable to do so with Mami and Ruka. Even Minnie in chapter 388 and 389, right? Minnie is literally all over him in these chapters. He's not drawing a clear line between friends, right? In contrast, Chizuru draws a line with Minnie in chapter 387 and chapter 390, right? She completely walls Minnie the fuck out. Chapter 387, Chizuru takes complete control of the situation. We went over that chapter. Chizuru takes complete control of the situation. She doesn't let Minnie dictate the pace whatsoever, right? And then chapter 390, when Minnie shows up, what does Chizuru do? Again, she doesn't follow what Minnie tells her. She does her own thing. Right? She's like, no, I'm going to do this. I'm not going to do what you tell me to do. Because clearly what you're saying is wrong. And then again, you see it with Umi in chapter 394 and 395. She draws the line. She does not let them dictate the pace. She decides. Chizuru knows how to draw a line. That's why there's no physical contact between her and Umi whatsoever. There's no physical contact whatsoever. Literally, they actively keep a sense of distance. It's never fucking crossed. Ever. Chizuru knows how to keep a proper distance and maintain proper boundaries. She knows how to draw lines and she knows how to read signs, right? She knows what people are saying and what they're indicating. And Kazuya doesn't. It's the total opposite with Kazuya. In learning to read signs and draw lines, literally like he's reading the driving signs, Kazuya can understand what Chizuru was trying to tell him, but felt she couldn't. She let him into her house. She let him touch her and kissed him. She agreed to a date and got very vulnerable. She wouldn't do that with just anyone. There were clear signs she was always very serious about him. She didn't kiss him on a whim. She didn't magically change her mind. In fact, when he learns about Hawaiians, he will realize just how much he mattered to her. This isn't just love. She doesn't just love him. She wants to marry him. In fact, Kazuya's inability to read signs and give proper signals has been present for a very long time. His confession in chapter 409, his confession in chapter 49, their talks on the balcony, Hawaiians, and even the rental dates. It's a big part of Chizuru's own confusion. It's even present in the 3 months, right? Remember when we were talking about the Umi chapter, where Umi asks her, "Are you in love with him?" And Chizuru has 2 flashbacks. She has a flashback of Minnie talking, and she has a flashback of Kazuya doing the movie. The first flashback mirrors her first words, I don't like him. Her second flashback of Kazuya making the movie and Kazuya being serious she says, but I don't not like him either. It's almost like the reason Chizuru's confused is because of his own mixed signals. Minnie says one thing, he does another. Right? Minnie says one thing, he does another. Minnie says his feelings that he's not telling her. Right? Kazuya is giving mixed signals. And that's been the actual problem from the start of the series. Kazuya's own inability to give proper signals, say the right things, like literally convey what he actually wants properly and consistently. You can tell someone, I love you. It doesn't matter if you don't actively like show it and convey it and help them feel like what they have with you is real. Because if they don't feel it, then they don't love you enough. Do you see why Chizuru came to that conclusion? She feels like she doesn't doubt his love. She thinks it's her fault, when in reality, it's because of how he's acting. That he's making her feel like she's not doing enough, and she doesn't want to keep wasting in time until she gets to that point. But Kazuya then tells her you have infinite time, right? But she doesn't want to keep it wasting his time. That Chizuru doesn't want to fucking do that. He has a future. His school life is literally almost over. He even says it. Chapter 388, remember what Kazuya fucking says? He literally says, I have to worry about graduation. I can't fail any of my classes. And I have to start job hunting. Two of which, had this dragged on any longer, he would have fucked those up. And Kazuya would have. And she knows he would have. He would have not been responsible. Because he showed her in the date, he would have done this. In the date, he tells her, all my focus was on this date, not actually focusing on my future. So what does Chizuru do? That's why she's doing this. Right? When Minnie calls them out in chapter 105, Kazuya's like, this is so awkward, I can't look her in the eye. So what does he say to her? He proceeds to say, what was that all about, huh? Us actually dating? Maybe when pigs fly, am I right? Huh, man, would she laugh if she knew we were just helping out, you were just helping me out as a rental? Ha 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 ha. Chizuru turns away. Sure, but we are bothering the neighbors. I think it's better if we maybe lay off the balcony conversations a little. And they never happen again. Back at the chapel, forget about it, okay? Let's pretend it didn't even happen, for real. Also, thanks you for everything, seriously. I've been such an obnoxious client. I don't know if weirdly it felt like that. I ought to tell you how much I appreciate that. When we get back to Tokyo, I'm going to tell Grandma that we broke up. So would you mind letting Grandma dream some more? Bro. Kazuya, please. Kazuya in the 3 months kept thinking Chizuru hated him when she gave him no inclination. She didn't leave, change her schedule, or block him. She didn't respond to a text. She didn't respond to a text about a coupon. He didn't know she was home when he knocked, and she refused rental dates. Kazuya ignored how Chizuru might not agree to a rental date considering Hawaiians. He doesn't wait in front of her door to try to talk to her in person. He doesn't consider her guilt. He just assumes. It's almost like Minnie wasn't necessary at all, since she easily solved it in just a day. Kazuya thinks she will hate him for being a stalker, except he literally did stalk her, and not only did their relationship survive, it got stronger. She didn't hate him. Instead, she saw him not for his mistakes, but for who he is. Kazuya saw what he wished to see, not what was there. Yeah, okay, cool. Kazuya would have to understand Mommy's circumstances. Yeah, and he's going to have to find out about those circumstances. When Kazuya sees Mommy's circumstances, it'll help him understand why what happened. And he's already getting clues of what's going on with Mommy's circumstances. He's already getting clues. He just needs to ask. Right? He's already getting clues. Hey, remember that story she told you about why you broke up? Yeah, here's it not adding up. Because literally he sees her with Hakuba and she literally tells him he's not my boyfriend. That's why he's curious about her dating life. It comes back full circle. His illusion about Mommy is breaking, but in finding out about her dating life, he can also find out about Hawaiians, right? To me, what it feels like Reiji is doing is that he's seemingly reconstructing what he did in the live action, but in a completely different way. And I mean that like completely different. It's not going to play out the same whatsoever. I think what he's doing is he's bringing back that element of a choice, because in that part, what happens is Kazuya makes the choice to go to like fake date mommy, so her dad could like let her go or whatever. He let her be with Kazuya or something, or free her or something. And that doesn't work out. And Kazuya makes the choice to leave mommy and go help Chizuru. That element of choice is very present here, right? It's what you choose to do with your time. So I think that's coming back full circle, but it's in a different way. Rather, what Reiji's showing now is Kazuya not making choices. Before, at that point, he was making choices, right? But that Kazuya at that point in the story is not this Kazuya. So what he's doing is he's bringing that back around, except it's showing Kazuya actively not making choices. It's showing Kazuya actively not making choices, and the choices being decided for him, and he's seeing how him not making choices is actually impacting people more, right? So rather than pick anything, he's not picking anything. He's not doing anything. He's not making any right choices. He's not making any choices at all. So that's coming back full circle in that way, and how that in itself is impacting Chizuru. It's actually showing how Kazuya is hurting the people that he loves rather than an external force hurting them. He's the one choosing this. He's the one creating these circumstances for this stuff to happen. And rather, it's about him taking charge of himself, just as Mami needs to, just as Ruka needs to, and just as in some ways Chizuru needs to as well, right? Because Chizuru is not realizing how passive she is. And like, literally, Chizuru doesn't see how Kazuya might perceive things in a certain way, even though she's trying to convey things in a certain way. And that's why I think she needs to face Mami, because in not addressing Mami, she appears a certain way, right? But Kazuya also doesn't want to address Mami. So that's the thing. Kazuya needs to show her he wants to address Mami. Kazuya needs to take action. To me, it all comes back to that. I feel like Chizuru has taken plenty of action. It feels more like Kazuya is the one who needs to take action. I feel like Chizuru's done a fucking lot. I feel like Chizuru's like done more than enough. And Kazuya is the one who needs to step up now. That's my opinion. I think Chizuru has done more than enough. Right? She's gone above and fucking beyond. While Kazuya lives in an illusion, Mami doesn't make any real effort, and Ruka also lives in an illusion that she created for herself, you know? The more I've been reading and reading Kanokari for the past 3 years, I've realized something. It's not just Kazuya and Chizuru, but almost all characters have troubles with communication. Well, every character in this story is acting out some sort of facade. It's kind of like Final Fantasy VII. Every character in Final Fantasy VII is acting out some sort of facade. They have some sort of facade that by the end of the story breaks, and they become like more honest to themselves. Like Cloud is acting out the facade of a soldier. Tifa is acting out the facade of like, I don't know how to describe Tifa's. It's like the act that she has her shit together when she doesn't. It's kind of meant to mirror Cloud. Like she's lying too. Barrett is acting out like, oh, I'm here to save the planet. I'm doing this for justice. When in reality, he's doing it for vengeance, and he's justifying it by saying it's for justice. Red 13 literally acts like an adult when he's a kid. Yuffie is constantly stealing and robbing people under the pretense that she's doing this to save her homeland, when that's just fucking bullshit. Sid is constantly acting like a tough grouch who's down in his luck and upset at everybody, when in reality he is actually supposed to be a leader, and he actually wants to dream, but he's upset that his dream was taken from him and takes it out on everyone else. Vincent is like what was Vincent? I can't remember like Vincent very well. Vincent like acts dark and brooding when he's like a sweetheart or something. I don't remember the details about Vincent. Unfortunately, Vincent is like barely involved in the story, which kind of blows. Yeah, Vincent's like barely involved in the story. Oh yeah, and Kate Sith is literally just a walking lie. Kate Sith is literally a walking fucking lie. He's literally a made-up robot that this dude who works at Shinra pilots. Like, his name is Reeve. So literally every character in Rent a Girlfriend is kind of similar in that sense. They all have like facades that you think do you understand, but you don't. Like Chizuru literally is the personification of a facade, and how she decompartmentalizes like aspects of her life. Ruka's facade is that she is what is it? Ruka's facade is that she's trying to make up for something that she's missing. You know, she's trying to get something that she's missing through someone else. Minnie literally lives through other people, acting as a kind of twisted mirror of Kazuya, where she lives through his relationship with Chizuru, just as Kazuya finds value in helping other people. Minnie is kind of the reverse of that. Minnie's like a selfish version of Kazuya, whereas Kazuya finds no value in himself and tries to find value in other people. Minnie lies to herself and tries to live through other people rather than actually finding her own life. Mami uses her trauma as an excuse to disguise her jealousy. Sumi uses her personality as an excuse to not do what she wants to do. Kibe copes with reality by telling himself that's just what it is. But he's lying to himself. Who else did I miss? I talked about. I think I covered everybody. Like and then of course I already said Ruka. Yeah, so I pretty much covered everybody. So yeah, that's like every character has some sort of mask, some sort of facade that they're hiding behind, a disguise they're hiding behind, and that's thematically represented through the things that they do. Wonder if Reiji will do another crowdfunding character event next year. He will. I think the plan is to do them once a year. I don't know who's next. I have no clue who's next. I could see it being Sumi. My guess is that it's Sumi. Sumi just makes sense. I feel like Sumi makes sense. I don't think it would be Minnie. Minnie has had plenty of time to shine. I don't know if it would be Chizuru. Maybe it could be Chizuru. Chizuru's totally possible. I think it's, to me, my guesstimate is either it's Chizuru or Sumi. I doubt it's Minnie. I doubt it's Mami. Because Mami currently has a lot of focus on the story, and Sumi has like barely existed. And the basis for why they did the first crowdfunding was because Ruka barely had any time in the story, and Reishi wanted to draw more of her. So Sumi just makes like who's the next one. And Curry's the guy that says doesn't go that way, that killer's there, and never go. Bro, the fuck are you saying? I don't know what the fuck you just said. Curry is that guy that says, don't go that way. The killer's there, and everyone goes anyway and just says, I told you so. That's not a mask. That's not a mask. That's not a mask. Curry's mask is that. What is Curry's mask? I think Curry like hides his insecurity by appearing like he knows what he's doing. I think that feels. I feel maybe that's Curry. Curry is the real homie. I'm not too sure about Curry. He probably has his own mask. Every character in the story has a mask. Well, Curry acts out a lot of stuff, right? Curry is constantly doing a lot of acting stuff. Like he's going to bars. He's constantly like, yeah. I think that's Curry. Curry masks what he doesn't have by going and doing all this other stuff, all this fake stuff, right? But he's more aware than you would think. Kazuya listening to Curry on relationship advice might work. I don't know. I mean, yeah, Curry's advice is solid. Curry's literally right. Like what he's telling him is literally right, but Kazuya refuses to read the signals. He doesn't want to see the signals. So he sees what he wants to see. Curry had a mask that was ripped apart by Ruka. No, I think he still has a mask. Right. He still has a mask. He's just a little more honest. But Curry definitely still has a mask. Curry hides like I think we could find it out in Hawaiians. Curry definitely has a mask. Curry definitely has a mask. You definitely see it in Hawaiians. Yeah, Curry definitely still has a mask. You definitely see it in Hawaiians. Where I don't know. I have to think about it. Curry definitely has a mask. I just haven't processed it. Okay, I didn't want to stream for too long. It's Friday. I think we should all like have a chill time. Plus, the chapter has not come out. I'm gonna see if there's anything posted. Let's see. Oh crap! The ring. Oh crap! The ring. Okay, so Mute says, next time in Kanokari, the chocolate Chizuru gave Kazuya that's in his fridge might be foreshadowing. This person says, high defense chocolate, I suppose. Cheers for today. What was the teaser? I totally forgot what the teaser was. What the fuck? Welcome to the new X chat. End-to-end encryption. The fuck is this garbage? I just want to see. What the fuck? Oh my god. Fuck off. What the fuck? The fuck? Fucking garbage. What's this shit? Okay, what was the teaser for next time? Ugh, they made it ugly too. It's like all black and white now. They made it ugly. Next time is a place to look. That's what it was. Ugh. Congrats, Elon. You fucking ruined Twitter. You fucking ruined DMing. Of course you fucking did. Okay, what did he say here? Whether it's the paper or the chocolate for the goal, I don't know, but it feels like it's going to turn into a situation where defense might be necessary. Please take care as well. I think the ring shouldn't be found in a way that implies another meaning either, but since we've reached a point where we really need to draw a clear line, it might be better if various things come to light and Kazuya gets cornered. Oh, yeah. Dude, the fucking ring. I didn't even think of that. The fucking ring. Christ. Although you'd have to search the house for things like keychains or rings, the chocolate is in the fridge. So I can imagine a situation where Ruka says, I'll make you a homemade meal, Kazuya, and just opens the fridge on her own. I think Kazuya should also stop going along with things out of inertia forever and just clearly talk to things out with Chizuru already. Yeah. Yeah, but like what Reiji's doing is like exploring Kazuya's inability to read signs. Where did Kazuya keep the ring? We don't know. We don't even know where the fuck the keychain is. We don't know where any of that stuff is. However, we do know where the chocolate is. Even though the keychain was supposed to be something you shouldn't normally find, Kazuya ends up dropping it and gets found. So such a scatterbrained guy that I could kind of feel like anything might turn up for him, lol. But I also think the chocolate will be a trigger. At the very least, it's probably something that makes Ruka realize that Chizuru and Kazuya's relationship was still going on. Yeah, like it's clearly a Valentine's chocolate, and Kazuya never opened it, right? Like dude, Kazuya never opened it and kept it in his fridge. There's no way Reiji isn't nodding to that. There's no fucking way Reiji isn't nodding to that. Like, why would he show us that? Right? To nod back to the 3 months and then just be like, oh, I'm just never going to address that. It's almost like we were meant to see that and that will come back in some way. Right? It's like we were meant to see that chocolate. So it'll come back and Ruka will see it. And it's clearly Valentine's chocolate. Like, no matter how you fucking slice it. And oh my, it even has a ribbon. It even has a ribbon. It has a ribbon on top. It has a ribbon on top. It's red. It says, I think only of you on it. And in French, you're not supposed to read because Reishi didn't write it in a way that was meant to be read. And it has a ribbon on it. Kazi's gonna fuck this up. Kazi's about to fuck this up, dude. Oh, he's gonna so fuck this up. He's not. Look, I think what's gonna happen. Here's my prediction for next chapter. It's actually gonna start with Kazuya saying, like either it's gonna start with Ruka already arriving, or it's gonna start with Kazuya saying he planned and he hid everything and everything should be fine, right? He's gonna say, I hid everything, it should be fine, right? And what's gonna happen? It's gonna mirror that day where there's gonna be things he forgot to hide. There's gonna be things he never considered. And then he's gonna drop things, or things are gonna happen, and it's all gonna come back to bite him in the ass. He's gonna drop things without realizing. Ruka's gonna see things without realizing, and that's pretty much how it's gonna blow up in his face. He's like, I hid it. It should be fine. In fact, he was really careless, and he didn't hide anything. And it's because he literally can't hide it. It's literally overflowing. You can't hide it anymore. It's hit a breaking point. It's like trying to cover up a dam when you can't anymore. There's too much water. It's literally overflowing from the top. You can't fucking hide it anymore. It's too obvious, you know? I have a feeling the next time it probably won't go as far as Ruka doubting her relationship with Chizuru, and it'll end with Kazuya just keep yelling in response to Ruka's provocations. As for the ring is now, readers don't know either. But the chocolate came out as just to right timing to make the readers think, wait, he still had that. So I think that served as a purpose as foreshadowing. I like how we just said the same fucking thing. That's really funny. Bro, what if Kazuya forgets Ruka's keychain at Chizuru's place? We don't even know where the keychain is. But what I'm saying is that there's a chance Ruka will see his new key and it won't have a keychain. And it won't even be the same key. And the other keychain is gone. Right? So that could be interesting, especially considering Reishi specifically nodded to those chapters, right? Like the key is going to look different. And it's not going to have the keychain unless Kazuya puts the keychain back on, right? Like Kazuya has been extremely forgetful lately. He's like, it's because he's choosing to forget, so he's forgetting other things too. So him fucking up with the keychain, right? And I doubt he forgot it at Chizuru's place. I fucking doubt it. I highly doubt he forgot it at Chizuru's place, right? But if he did, that would be kind of funny. Like, that'd be kind of impressive that he did. But the Kazuya forgetting, like, the keychain or something? Boy. Yeah, no, there's a lot of signs of where this could go and, like, what Kazuya forgot and what's gonna fucking happen. There's a lot of signs. So yeah, this is interesting. Let's see if there's anything else they talked about. Or if you talk to anyone else. I don't think it's going to happen like next chapter. I think next chapter is going to be the start. Next chapter is going to be a start. It's not going to happen all next chapter, you know. It's going to be the beginning. Oh, this person had an interesting one. Kazuya, what's this? Oh, it's a present for me, your girlfriend. Can I open it? No, Ruka-chan, right? Because Kazuya never opened it. It's just sitting there unopened. Right? Ruka might assume it's for her. Yeah, that could be another way. Ruka could assume it's for her, and Kazuya doesn't let her open it. Oh. She opens it, and there's a note in there. And it like reads something like, you mean the world to me. Yikes. Yikes. And Ruka thinks it's for her. Holy crap. Ruka opens it. There's a note in there, and she thinks it's for her. Bro, why did I not think of that? That could totally happen. And then I end up eating the open chocolate, even though Kazuya said, I feel like I won't be able to eat for the rest of my life. Oh my god. Ruka eats the chocolates he couldn't eat. Oh my god. Please take care. Okay. Nothing here. Damn it. Okay. Don't fuck me. I'm getting a little upset. Okay. The chocolate in the fridge, the notice, the key to the new house, attached ribbons to them. Are there any other things that must be protected? The shape of the key to Chizuru's family home was been seen by Ruka once, but please take care of me today as well, right? Okay. Nothing else there. Wow. Dude. If there was a note, Chizuru would have asked about would have asked about the chocolate. Maybe, you never know. It could have just been sorry for this thing. Right? She could have just repeated something she already told him. So maybe it's not a big deal. But it turns out to be something that was like relevant to the 3 months. Right? Sorry for ghosting you or something. Sorry for not talking to you or something. Right? It could still work. It could still sound like it's something for Ruka, but maybe she won't recognize the handwriting, or maybe it'll be like typed up. I don't know. What if the note is signed by Chizuru? I think Ruka will find the Joy Polis receipts. I guess that would be interesting. Kazuya could have at least opened the box and checked out the chocolates. Do chocolates have expiration dates? Yeah, chocolates of course do. If you keep them refrigerated, they'll last longer, of course. But they of course do. And he's had this one for a fucking month. So, not great. But yeah, I think that's roughly it. I didn't want to stream for too long today. It's Friday. I think we should all go have fun or do something nice. Don't just sit here watching me. I didn't have like a crazy amount to talk about. I think we talked about a lot. It's been like 2 hours and 30 minutes or something. Ruka eats the chocolate and gets food poisoning. Jesus Christ. Right, because Kazuya took too long to open it. That would be kind of fitting. Just the list is enough for Ruka to blow up, since it's literally just Mizuhara written on it. Yeah. I think the list is the comeuppance. I think the list will be the final thing. The list will be the end. I think once she sees the list, that's it. But again, there's nowhere. I think the next chapter will just build up to this. It won't actually like show it. you know? It'll just build up to it. It won't actually show it. So we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I think I've I guess we can read Reddit a little bit. This has to be the Ruka breakup. If not, all hope is lost for Kazuya. Okay. I'm serious. Ruka sees his new hair and gets icky. Problem solved. Serious. I don't know, but if we're starting the Ruka visit, I imagine the chapter ends with Ruka arriving in the slow motion car crash. Absolutely delicious drama will take multiple chapters. What the fuck? That's a weird fucking take, bud. Does Chizuru know where Kazuya's new apartment is? I don't recall seeing the info exchange in the manga, though maybe it happened and I missed it. Chizuru will help with Ruka. It's something they have to handle together since they created her between the two of them, but I think it'll happen much later when Ruka has already been hurt, whether she sees the list, the chocolate, the keychain, or just wonders why the hell he won't sleep with her. Pick your poison. I believe that Chizuru doesn't know where it is. I think that he won't break up with her in this chapter. It could end in the meeting, but a few more chapters later. I suspect that Chizuru does know based on some of Kazuya's stuff being sent over before the final kiss goodbye. More on that in a moment. Well, no. The stuff that was sent over was what is it? The stuff that was sent over was from Kazuya's was the stuff he left in his house. So I don't know. I do see Ruka being let down with potentially both of them present. It makes sense as to a way to soften the blow. It comes full circle. Symmetry is how it started with the three of them. Nah. I think that'll only happen when they have a moment to talk. Right? I think it'll only happen when they've all come to a clear understanding of what's going on. When Mommy took photos of Kazuya's driving school schedule, the form had his personal info on it, including his street address. Thus, we're going to have more birthday visitors at Kazuya's apartment than merely Ruka. It's going to include Chizuru and Mommy. And the stretch prediction is, why not? Let's have Sumi and Minnie show up too. Minnie, sure. Sumi, how? How? And the driving school schedule, why would his driving school schedule have his address? That's purely for him. That's literally just for him. It's not for anyone else. So, even if he shows it to them, why would they need his address? Right? That doesn't seem right. It wasn't a form, it was just a schedule. You don't need your address for the schedule. Ruka comes to Kazuya with a precise idea. Kazuya will have endless mental blowjob. I really don't like this person. I've seen them so many times and I'm so fucking done with their stupid takes. Reiji has Kazuya have sex with her, but that makes it all a dream. If Kazuya is well, then TR thoughts he resists the following chapter. I'm kind of glad these people aren't writers. I'll be honest. I'm kind of glad these people are not writers. Because this just sounds really fucking stupid. Genuinely glad these people are not writers. In my opinion, I had a chapter where Ruka arrives at Kazuya, tries in every way to do things like a couple. He treats her as usual with the thoughts of Chizuru. She's exasperated to play the sex card by jumping on him. The chapter will end with the two of them intertwined and him not knowing what to do. The rejection by him, the discovery of the truth of those months by Ruka, and the subsequent emotional breakdowns will be seen in a few chapters. The author will make us suffer. Okay. I think the only thing that I could see happening is Ruka tries to have sex and Chizuru walks in. Or something like that. That's the thing that I think I could see happening. Chizuru sees that. That would be interesting. Right? That would be interesting. I have a feeling that Reiji is ordered to drag the stories, make Kazuya look like she did that with Chizuru before. Okay, I'm sorry. If your interpretation, for one, you really disappoint me considering you have Arturia Pendragon, the OG, my favorite female character, which is now no longer my favorite female character. I just like her a lot. And you think Reiji's just dragging. I'm sorry. Welcome to my channel. Reiji is not dragging. There is a purpose for literally everything he has shown us. And you have to take a look and pay attention carefully to what he's showing you. He's not dragging the story. Go rewatch my stream, my dude. Go rewatch my stream. Bacon, undo that. That was not necessary. Bacon, that was not necessary. That person was actually surprisingly chill. That you did not need to do that. They did not come insulting me. They didn't do anything. Bro, you need to know what is blockable and what isn't. That's too much. That didn't feel necessary. You don't need to block them. Like, bro. They didn't say anything bad. They just said Reiji might be dragging and they don't know how to feel. That I think it's stupid, yes. I do think it's stupid, but I don't think it's worth a block. Speaking of which, I gotta check. Oh, man, I didn't open up Twitch again. Fucking did it again. There it is. Bro, we gotta train you up on what is blockable and what isn't. Oh, hello, Fruity Groovy. I don't know if you're still here. Analysis. What the bloody hell? There we go. Yeah, there wasn't really much interesting stuff in here. Varicus didn't even comment. Dude didn't give a fuck. My wish list. Ruka discovers the precious chocolate, which is noted inside. Ruka discovers Kazuya's list of goals. Ruka makes a physical advance towards Kazuya to the point where Kazuya resists so vehemently that Ruka angrily ends the relationship. Ruka's not going to just angrily end the relationship. You are very dearly mistaken. Mrs. Arturia Pendragon. I don't know. I'm not going to assume your gender. I recommend you rewatch my stream, or you see some of my other streams discussing the series. You'll be surprised how little you actually understand about this story and how well it's actually written and how Reiji is not dragging. Woo. You can convince a person with stupid takes and guide them to the right place. There's only a few people I don't like reasoning with, and they're the people who don't want to listen and just want to be right. And when I start seeing those signs, I'm like, okay, now we're done here, right? Now we're done here. Now I'm done with this shit. I don't care about that anymore. You know, that's when I'm like, okay, you're just getting blocked. You're not listening. You just wanna. I had like a really good writing of it. What is this one? Oh, I fucking hate this artist. The art is cute, but it's literally meant to insult. It's so fucking irritating. I remember this piece of shit artist. I fucking hated them. Ooh, woo, you love me, you fund me, you finance my movie, but I only love your money. I saw this artist's work and it made me so angry. Like, just seeing how people talk about Chizuru drives me up the fucking wall. It's so stupid. It's so insanely stupid. Like, wait, challenge, don't mischaracterize Chizuru Mizuhara. Its challenge instantly failed. Literally, breathe funny. Ooh. Wow, isn't that cute? But it's wrong. Right? Literally how I feel. It's so dumb. Chizuru, according to the internet, prostitute. She asked you for money just to say hi. Uses Kazuya. She kisses 3 men every day. Compulsive liar. Wow, that's nice boobs. She's a virgin, the kindest and most generous being in the world. She loves Kazuya with all her being. She only kissed Kazuya, a total pure being of light. Wow, those nice boobs. little kind of gross, but not too far off. We actually never see her charge for Hawaiians. No, literally, this shit is so unbelievably fucking stupid. I've never seen a character more mischaracterized. I've never seen a girl like a character more mischaracterized than Chizuru and Kazuya. Correction, I've never seen a story more mischaracterized than this one. The entire story, everybody in it is mischaracterized. Literally everybody. Mommy's mischaracterized, Ruka's mischaracterized, fucking even Sumi. Everybody is like, Sumi is the greatest thing since sliced bread, and Reiji is just like, Sumi is the part of me that uses my personality as an excuse to not do the things I want to do. That's Sumi. Which is literally true. If you read her Sumi in her spin-off manga, that's literally her character. It's so fucking funny. Literally, like she goes to a ramen place and the dude just calls her out on her bullshit, and I loved it. The dude's like, okay, I'm not giving you your order until you tell me exactly what you fucking want. Say it out loud. Say it right now. And then Sumi says it. He's like, okay, here you go. And he fucking hands her the ramen. It was so good. I'm just like, yes, call Sumi out on her bullshit. Besides being kind of a prick, he's a bad archer. It looks like a Funko Pop. Oh, you're talking about this person. Okay. The art is cute. The art is cute. Everything around it is horrendous, which is quite fitting considering that's how the industry feels. The art is a lot of the industry like feels like this, where a lot of artists who draw well feel like this. Like they kind of feel exactly like this. It's kind of terrible. Where they'll what is it? Their art will be really cute or adorable or really cool, and then just the stuff it's depicting is horrendous, and the things that they say are horrendous, and it makes you want to lose faith in people. And I'm like, no, I refuse to judge everybody by these fuckers. Kazuya. Oh, Kazuya. They're all surface level. I swear, they didn't read. 1 step forward, 3 steps back. What now? Okay. The moment I read the first sentence, I can't do this with Kazuya anymore. Peace out, bro. I'm not reading the rest of that. I'm not reading the rest of that. Peace out, bro. I don't think we've ever scrolled through Reddit like this before. Ooh. It just occurred to me that I can't think of anything Kazuya has done solely for himself, by which I mean him doing something that wasn't motivated by a different character in some way. Well, someone is noticing good stuff. I've always figured this was intentional, at least to an extent. Start of the series, Kazuya had the vibes of a slacker aimlessly floating through life. He had a family store to fall back on as a career path and never really had the ambition to pursue anything else. So this is a mischaracterization of Kazuya. Mischaracterization number 1. Kazuya, the store is not something he can fall back on. Rather, the very nature of the store robbed Kazuya of what he could do. What do I mean by this? I wrote about this on Twitter. Let me pull it up. Let's see. Mommy. Future. Let me make sure. La. Maybe this one? Oh my god, I just clicked on this. I'm stupid as fuck. Yeah, the whole point I was trying to make out is that both Kazuya and Mami are robbed of futures in their own respective ways and thus parallel each other. Mami's future is robbed of her because she has an arranged marriage. Kazuya's future is robbed of him because he has the family store, and that was always decided for him. And so he never had anything outside the family store. On one hand, it is a privilege, just like Mami has the privilege of her family and her family being rich. On the other, Kazuya, on the other, she is stuck in an arranged marriage and must escape this privilege, right? Don't let the privilege make you lazy and not want to actually try. Kazuya is the reverse of this. On one hand, the store is something that he can fall back on. You're kind of correct in that department. On the other, the very nature of the store robbed him of a future. He doesn't have a future because of the store, right? I wrote it well on Twitter, future store. There it is. Kazuya's future is the store. In a sense, he has no future of his own because the store is his future. Mami is the same, but in a more twisted way. Her future is to marry Hakuba. She must do as the family tells her. She has no future of her own. Driving might be a part of that. This perfectly ties into the theme of autonomy. We are under the impression that Mami is doing this for her future because Kazuya says so, but considering Mami's future, it's highly doubtful she just decided to change. Rather, Mami is trapped just like Kazuya is. Think about it. Where do we see Mami sign up for the driving school? In her home, in her prison. Kazuya goes to the driving school after first going to his home of origin, changing his hair to appear different, and even decides to do it while locked in his new apartment. They are literally mirrors. Both are trapped in a cycle, yet appearing like they are changing, when in reality, they never escaped, merely dreamed of it like a prince or princess looking out the window of their castle. Neither has made true change over themselves and their world. Okay. And because of that, Kazuya doesn't dream of a future. It's not simply just having ambition, it's because he's spoiled, but also because his future is already decided for him. Do you see the problem? This is part of why his family and friends have always been so negative about him, I think. But I think it's also part of why his attraction to Chizuru was, at least early on, good for him. Being someone she could rely on gave Kazuya something to strive for, something he could really dedicate focus his effort to. The problem is, as of course, even though he's long since proven his ability to be the rock of support, he's still locked in the mindset of I need to fight like hell 24/7 to stay above the threshold of respectability. I think recognizing that he has proven himself and doesn't need to stay on this grind set is Kazuya's next big challenge. But it's something he has to accept in himself, you know? I feel like to say more about his fish keeping though, to be honest, that's probably the closest thing he has to a real self-motivated hobby. Yeah. He also likes playing games and playing with the kids. So that's another part of it. Well, his desire to be with Chizuru is actually something for himself, for whatever that's worth. Yes, it is. He's correct. Kazuya did do things for himself at the start of the series. For instance, the dream date was for himself. The dream date where they go to Tokyo Dome, that was all for him. That was completely selfish. It was all for him. And Chizuru even told him, hey, commit to this. Let's go. Yo, this is what you want, isn't it? This is what you want, is it? Let's fucking do it. Let's fucking go. Right? And she does it. And they have fun. So Kazuya did do things for himself. That is a thing, you know? Kazuya has done things for himself. It's just now Kazuya isn't really doing a lot for himself. And a lot of it is living through other people. because Kazuya at this point is not valuing himself. But there are a lot of parts in the story where he did do things for himself. Chizuru is something he did for himself. His pursuit of his love is something he did for himself. However, what's happening now is he's pursued love for so long, the meaning has been lost. He's pursued love for so long, the meaning of it has seemingly been lost. Right? He doesn't even know why he's chasing love anymore. Okay. I'll stop at 3 hours. We're almost at 3 hours. Kazuya's future is not predetermined. He thinks it is, but in reality, he probably will end up being a producer career. It was foreshadowed. Actually, no. Reiji actively said that he thinks that's stupid. Reiji doesn't want Kazuya and Chizuru to be in the same industry. It's not something he wants to do for Kazuya. Kazuya didn't do that because of any other reason than to support Chizuru. In fact, what Reiji has shown is that, for example, Kazuya likes marine life. Kazuya likes kids and likes being a mentor for kids, or likes taking care of kids. Kazuya it wants to pursue a future that is detached from these things. When in reality, these are parts of himself he needs to embrace, and then he's not giving enough time. Reiji doesn't want Kazuya to be a producer. He actively said this. He thinks it's stupid, and he thinks it's very counter to his character. And it is, because that's not Kazuya. That really is not Kazuya. Kazuya is something. Kazuya didn't do the movie thing for those reasons. He enjoyed the company of the people around him, and it was a fun experience. But would that be a thing he would want to pursue? You know, he enjoyed that, but would that be a thing he would want to pursue? Right? He mostly did it for Chizuru. Right? He had fun with it, but he mostly did it for Chizuru. But Kazuya being like a marine biologist, a teacher, that makes more sense. That aligns more with his character. That's in line with him. He's not trying to be some big dude. Movies aren't really Kazuya's thing either. Like, what good is producing? You know, he's not really into movies that way. That's more in line with Chizuru. Whereas with Chizuru, Reiji's actually setting her up to be more of like someone who's in the fashion industry, because she's like she's a fashionista. Like, girl knows her fucking shit. So she could literally be in the fashion industry. She can help people like with fashion, how to dress and do stuff like that, you know? That could totally be something Reiji's setting up for Chizuru. So he's literally setting up their futures and what their future is like, and he's showing how the characters are changing while things appear the same, but also showing how some things appear like they're changing, but they're actually just the same. In reality, they're changing in ways they don't even control. So no, things are just not as they appear when it comes to this story. But that's just what I think. Kazuya becoming marine biologist would kind of be out of the question at this point. A lot of college required. Yeah, I mean, maybe not a marine biologist. It could just be a hobby. But like, you know, the problem is Kazuya's focus is just the store. And maybe Kazuya could, you know, stick to the store, right? You think Chizuru will quit acting eventually? I think acting was her vocation. Chizuru loves acting. She definitely does. But like, say she needs a part-time job or something, she's gonna like eventually she's not gonna keep acting, you know? Maybe she's gonna want to do something different. Like, Chizuru does love acting, but maybe she wants to do something different. You know, Reiji is talking about that stuff, like how the characters are like changing, what they want to do for their future, right? A part of the reason Chizuru was working so hard for acting was that she was doing it for her grandmother and for her grandpa and the promise she made them, but a part of that is now gone. In fact, that's a big thing with Chizuru's character right now. People don't seem to want to address that. A lot of people think Chizuru just moved on from her grief. She fucking didn't. She still talks to her dead grandmother. A lot, in fact. She still talks to her a lot, right? Instead of like, you see her talk more with Sayuri than you do see her talk with like real people. right? She still talks to her dead grandmother, but this person is gone, right? And that's kind of the point, is that a part of her dream is dead. A part of what she had before is gone. So now it's more so about, okay, what does Chizuru want to do with acting? What is the point of acting? Right? And she does it because she loves acting, yes. But is it so she could keep acting forever? Or does she want to do something else? You know? And that's why Reiji's setting up this fashion element with Chizuru's character. He shows Chizuru shopping and like exploring fashion a lot during the build-up to the date. There's a lot of buildup of her like looking into fashion, understanding fashion, what makes fashion cute, what it works, things like that. And that's contrasted with Kazuya kind of just getting what other people are like recommending for him. He's just getting what other people recommend to him and what he thinks is cool. Well, that's the thing. Chizuru is not defined by the acting world. She just loves acting. She's not letting the acting world define her. Clearly, she can fucking navigate that shit. Chizuru got that shit on lock. We don't know what Umi is. You think you understand Umi. You don't know what Umi is. Because Umi is not as he appears a lot of times. You think you understand Umi. You don't. And I genuinely believe this. We don't actually understand Umi. He's not what we think he is. If anything, I think in some ways, Kazuya in the date might maybe understand Umi better than he realizes. That Umi might be really insecure about Kazuya and he always like imagines Chizuru with Kazuya in other ways. Maybe Umi feels exactly that way about Kazuya. Because in the date, Chizuru is understanding Ruka a whole lot better without realizing. Maybe Kazuya is understanding Umi a whole lot better without realizing. Maybe Umi is just as insecure as him and it never fucking crossed his mind. Because Umi always looks cool and looks like he has his shit together and he's surrounded by all these girls. You never know. Right? You don't actually know Umi. Right? Maybe Umi isn't like that at all. Maybe Umi isn't what we think he is whatsoever. Because Umi is perceptive enough to know Chizuru likes Kazuya. If he's that perceptive, there's no way he's stupid enough to keep trying. So what is happening with Chizuru might not be as it appears. It could be something completely different. Anywho, we hit the 3-hour mark. I'm going to call it for now. It's 6 o'clock. I got to go to bed soon. Like 2-3 hours because I got to get up extra early. I get up extra duper early for my job, but I'm trying to get extra sleep lately because I don't feel like I've been getting enough sleep. Yo, Fate, thank you. I appreciate you. How you break down Rent a Girlfriend. Thank you, bro. Thanks a lot. It means a lot. I appreciate the compliments. They make me feel better. They make me feel better. I definitely got to trim down some of these streams. Bro. So we can like get some of this shit, you know? I feel like I talk about a lot of good stuff in these streams and I don't put them enough in here. Maybe Umi's a psychopath and has no real emotions. We don't know. I don't think he's a psychopath. I get it. I get it. You're using hyperbole. I understand. But like, I feel like Umi is not what we think. Like, I don't think he's an asshole. I actually think Umi is not what we think he is. And we'll see more of that later. I look forward to your weekly videos like a podcast, lol. Well, thank you. That's very nice. Yeah, I gotta definitely trim these down. I definitely gotta trim some of this shit down so I can like have people actually have videos to watch that are like, you know, more condensed and more organized. God, I gotta make more content. But definitely sleeping helps. Sleeping and taking care of yourself makes this a lot easier. Please do that. Drink water, eat good food, sleep and take care of yourself. Here's a tip. Anyone trying to lose weight, here's an easy tip. Replace soda with water, or like any sweets, just replace it with water. Eat chicken, and instead of eating like bread or like sweets or anything like that, eat sweet potato. Eat sweet potato. That stuff's good for you. You will lose so much more weight than exercising. Exercising is just a bonus. People don't know this. You lose so much more by just managing your diet. Exercise is just a bonus. Like, and then because most of your weight is actually water weight. And that goes away when you actually like cut down a lot of the sugar. Your body will just like, it's like little like that. And then afterwards, just balance how you eat and then try to exercise a little bit. You don't even have to exercise a lot. Do you know you actually burn so much fucking weight by just walking? You earn a crap ton of weight by just walking. People don't know that. If you just walk on an incline, you burn a fuck ton of weight. Exercise is not as important as people think. It is good for you. It is good for you, but in terms of losing weight, oh, that's different. You're blown away from the Sony State of Play. It was meh. But to be fair, okay. Sony State of Play. We watched it like last stream, I think. We watched it last stream. Sony State of Play was okay, but just understand, one, they were never planning to make crazy big announcements, because I think what we got was just pretty solid for what it was. They were never planning to make massive big announcements, specifically because they targeted it towards Japan. It was a Japan State of Play. So they were never going to make massive, crazy, big announcements. To think that they would was actually kind of fucking stupid on our part. You know, like that was never going to happen. It was intentionally targeted towards the Japanese audience. It wasn't targeted towards everybody, right? Which should have told you, okay, they're not going to announce anything like a fucking like remake or whatever. I think Square announcing like Octopath Zero is pretty big, considering what that was. I think the stuff that they showed was pretty cool considering what that was. I would give it like a 6 out of 10. But like considering what they showed and the scale they were going for, I would say it's more like an 8. Like watching it was like a 6 out of 10. But thinking about it and processing it and considering their target audience for it, 8 out of 10. It's pretty solid. It wasn't like big, but considering what they showed, it was kind of gig. I think Nevergrave is the one I really want to get. I'm so interested in that game. That game looks so fucking cool. I really want to get Nevergrave. I went to keto for like 6 months, barely walked 30 minutes per day, and I lost like 20 pounds. Yeah, I don't recommend keto. I don't know if that's what I've not heard good things about keto. I don't know the specifics about it. I don't recommend it. I still think you should eat healthy. You just have to manage what you eat and how you eat it. You know, I think it's much more effective. It's just about like getting more protein and then cutting down how much you eat. And then it'll be better. It's just better that way. It's just literally cutting down on the sweets. You know, it's just literally cutting down on the sweets and what you intake, and then just move around a little bit. Just take a few walks a day, and boom, you're good to go. You know, like it's just more so about like balancing what you eat. Don't like starve yourself or anything like that. Yeah, just manage it. You know. Just try to eat a little healthier. And understand you don't even have to buy like crazy shit. Like what I do is I go to like Costco. I don't know if you have Costco where you are. I don't know if you have Costco or if you can afford Costco. Costco is not that bad, honestly. Anyways, I just go to Costco and I get like a big thing of like frozen chickens. Like massive. It's like $25 or something. 25, $30, something like that. But it's fucking massive. Just toss it in the freezer. Make a chicken like every day. And then just make the chicken differently, make different sauces or something. You know, don't just eat it like as it is. Like actually make a good fucking sauce for it. And it's great. And then just make sweet potato, maybe make a salad. Boom, shit tastes great. You know? And sometimes I have a little sweetness. It's kind of nice. But make sure not to overwhelm yourself with proteins, because if you have too much protein, dude, you get fucked. Like one time I actually had like too much protein and it actually tasted like kind of gross in my mouth. It was weird. Like high protein diet and consume less calories. Yeah. And like don't overwhelm yourself. Like at one point, the Ink Den is rating you with a party of 2. Oh, well, thank you. That's nice. That's very nice of you. Wait, is that? Wait, I think I know who the Ink Den is. Either way, thank you. That's very nice. Poor timing, considering I'm about to like finish. Thank you. Oh, thank y'all. I'm actually almost done though, unfortunately, because I pretty much got through everything I wanted to for today. So this was always going to be a short stream. You met me through Hero. Oh, sorry. It's okay. Do I know you in real life? Or do I not? I do? Okay. Wait. Are we met IRL. Interesting. All right. Well, I have to figure out who that is at another time. Oh no. Summarize the stream for them, lol. I talk about Rent a Girlfriend. And I think it's good. There you go. TLDR. Internet's wrong. I like this series, and I was analyzing the latest chapter. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. Gotta get you. Wow, that is a throwback. That is a throwback. God, I have not heard like that song in ages. Yeah, we talked a lot about Rent a Girlfriend. I talked about the recent chapter. I did like a breakdown of what's going on, all that stuff. Nothing too crazy. But yeah, I'm pretty much done. Now we're talking about protein and a healthy diet. Now we're talking about protein and healthy diet. Speaking of which, I need water. I haven't drank water in 3 hours and I've been talking nonstop. Ugh. Okay. What happens if Rent a Girlfriend ends up like domestic no Kanojo? Gritters will go crazy. I'm sorry to tell you that's not how Reiji writes. I'm sorry to tell you that is not how Reiji writes. I don't know anything about Domestic Girlfriend. Understand? I do not know anything about Domestic Girlfriend. I've seen just a little bit of it. And just understand, people already grift this series extra duper hard. They already grift this series extra duper hard. Like, dude, I was seeing the same people who got like the Kazuya looks like Reiji thing trending. Like, oh my god, they're gonna fuck. And then literally when it doesn't trend, when they say that, they like quote retweet themselves like, oh my god, blah 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 blah. I forgot what they said. It was so dumb. And it just popped into my feed. I'm like, what the hell? What the hell? It's fucking grifters, dude. Right? So no, I don't think it'll end up like Domestic Girlfriend. I also heard the anime was like different from the manga. I don't know how. You know? I hear a lot of people like heavily defending Domestic Girlfriend. They're like how like Gigok characterizes it is like completely different from the story, but I wouldn't know. That's what I've heard. I don't know, but considering how like Gigok talks about a lot of stories, I'm not even remotely surprised. Like the dude has a very good habit, a terrible habit actually, of mischaracterizing stuff. Gigok has like a terrible habit of just mischaracterizing shit in like the funniest fucking way. Like it's kind of entertaining, but at the same time, like, could you not? could you not? I would appreciate that. But yeah, it also can be entertaining, you know? But yeah, no, he's definitely done that with this series. I know he's somewhat done that with Fate. I know he's definitely done that with Fate. The Fate community is like so pissed at him. It's kind of funny. Genuinely so fucking pissed at him. It's hilarious. Cause he does such a good job of mischaracterizing the story. And like I know he's doing it in part for fun, but at the same time, I know he also kind of believes it. And that's what makes him kind of funny. To me, Gigok feels like the kind of content creator or like the kind of watcher who like takes something seriously when it's presented as super serious. You know, like American television. American television needs to take itself extra duper seriously for people to be like, oh my god, it's the best thing fucking ever. You know? Whereas stuff like Breaking Bad is entertaining for me because it both takes itself seriously and looks like the stupidest fucking shit. Fate Zero is a masterpiece. You can't argue that. It completely mischaracterizes Artoria, and you are pissing me off now. Fate Zero absolutely mischaracterizes Artoria as someone who read the actual visual novels. Like, it absolutely mischaracterizes her. And her argument with Iskandar and Gilgamesh pisses me the fuck off because that is not Artoria. That they just kind of took the basis of what she says and just said, nah, a king is a fucking asshole. And I'm like, no, you're fucking idiots. Do you play FGO? I did for a good period. I still have my FGO accounts. I both have a Japanese account and an English account. But I don't really play anymore. I just occasionally roll. I'm just like, oh hey, I have some star quartz. I think that's what they're called, and I roll it. I'm like, cool. And then I get what I want, or I don't get what I want. But then I don't even level the shit. I just get it, you know. Unfortunately, both my accounts are like so crowded now. I kind of don't give a shit, and I don't feel like reading. There's so much reading. It's like fucking multiple novels. It's Fate Go is so stupid long. It is so unbelievably stupid fucking long that I just like, I kind of can't. I did the original story. I started the Lost Belts and I just kind of stopped. I'm like, okay, this is a little too much. I liked Fate Zero the first time I saw it. I loved it. I think Fate Zero is like kind of what got me into the series. And then I watched the Fate Stay Night anime by Studio Dean, the old one. Then I read the visual novels, and I did all 3 routes. And I even started Howl Ataraxia. And then longer than the Fate Stay Night visual novel? Yes, it is. Fate Go is longer. I'm not kidding. It is fucking longer. So I started Hollow Ataraxia, which is the sequel to Fate Stay Night, and I never finished it. But then I saw the Fate Stay Night movie, the Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works, and I'm like, damn, dude, they just kind of fucking gave you the cliff notes. Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works is like the fucking cliff notes of Fate Stay Night. Like, oh yeah, we're just gonna not really like focus on like Shiro's PTSD. And I'm just like, bro, what the fuck? Shiro, no. And then they made the movie, and I think the movie was a lot better. The Heaven's Feel movie was like a lot better. To this day, we will never get a Fate adaptation, and I fucking hate it. We will never get a Fate adaptation, and I fucking hate it. I am so goddamn mad. I fucking love the Fate adaptation. I just love the Fate route, and we're just never getting it, because fuck me, I guess. Let's see. 100 Girlfriends is really good harem anime manga because it doesn't take itself seriously unless needed. I will eventually give 100 Girlfriends a try. I just need to get my dislike of it out of my system simply because of how other people talk about it. Because they hold it to like some amazing fucking standard. I also know it doesn't take itself too seriously, but I kind of don't like some of its tropes. I think I've more so just become kind of a person who likes like slightly older romance stories with like more depth to them, and then comedy around that, rather than it just being nothing fucking serious whatsoever. I've kind of just strayed away from comedies lately. I think I've always been somewhat like that. Like even Kaguya-sama. Kaguya-sama is like raised as like the greatest thing fucking ever, and I'm like, guys, Akka has a lot of fucking problems with writing. Like he does, and it's definitely there. It is definitely there in his writing for Kaguya-sama. I think Kaguya-sama starts pretty solid, and then around the first kiss and after that point, it starts kind of falling apart for me, because I'm just like, it's okay. And then I know Oshinoko, like Oshinoko is again praised like the greatest thing fucking ever, and it has some cool concepts, but it also just falls flat for me on a lot of points. Like there's one scene I always like love to mention, and it's the scene where Akane, I think is her name, is like, the studio kind of screws her over and she almost takes her life. And then they're like, okay, we're gonna make a video to prove your innocence. And I'm like, okay, cool, manipulating social media. I get it. That's what you do. That's your whole thing. And then they need this particular footage. They need this particular footage from this veteran in the industry. And I'm like, okay, this dude has done this for a while. He's probably been through the fucking ringer. Why would he suddenly have a change of heart? Randomly has a change of heart, gives them the one thing they fucking needed to solve this problem, I'm like, are you fucking kidding? What? And then he just, he just joins their gang and he's just kind of cool. Like he just occasionally says hi and talks to them. He's just this older dude. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, how would he not get blacklisted in in Japan of all places? Right? Like, you think they wouldn't hunt down how that fucking leaked? Right? You think they wouldn't find out how that fucking leaked and blacklist the dude? No fucking shot. Right? And so it's like, Aka has a lot of that kind of convenient writing that I don't click with. Like, for instance, you see it in Ishigami's backstory, where, Ishigami's locked in his room and then just conveniently Mr. President shows up and saves him, and I'm like, okay, how did that happen exactly? Just did. Didn't. I don't know. There's just stuff about Aka's writing that is like, conceptually it's good. He's a very good conceptual writer, but how it feels for me just kind of doesn't feel earned sometimes. And that's just how I feel. Like, you're welcome to disagree, that's just how I feel. You like Nisekoi? I remember liking Nisekoi when it first came out. I read the manga. I didn't really watch the anime. I seem to have that tendency where I like read the manga and then the anime comes out later, and I'm just like, whatever. I was never super into it, and I ended up dropping it way later point because it just kind of got boring, which just kind of sucks, 100 Kanojo is good to read if you don't want to think very much. Yeah, I kind of like thinking. I kind of like thinking a little bit. Makane is a good fragrant as well. I like Makane. Fragrant is okay. Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity is okay. The characters are a little too perfect. That's my issue with it. I think Fragrant Flower, I've discussed this many times, I think Fragrant Flower has a very good basis for its story around the idea of like discrimination and how people are treated and how people look and appear. Conceptually, great idea. I love that. The problem is it contrasts that by making everyone literally fucking perfect. But guess who my favorite character is? Because she's not perfect. Subaru. Subaru is my favorite character in Fragrant Flower because she's so flawed. Because she's such a flawed character. I fucking love her. Right? But most of the other characters feel really flawed and don't feel like their age. They don't really feel like their age, and it's weird. That's why I like losing heroines, because everybody feels like their age, and they're stupid as fuck, and it is entertaining to watch. Losing heroines is such an absolute fucking shit show, and I love it for that exact reason, because it knows how to balance being a total shit show with like real emotions. Spoiled myself on your line, April. Okay, your line, April feels borderline manipulative, which, by the way, could technically be interpreted as a meta writing thing, where it's like it emotionally manipulates you. It's a lie. Get it? Your lie in April, it's emotionally manipulating you, just like the story is about a character somewhat feeling manipulated, I guess. I get that. I was just like, whatever. Girlfriend is funny. Okay, girlfriend is like fucking hilarious. Fucking hilarious. Especially, I like the manga more. A lot of people would say they prefer the anime. I love the fucking manga. That author is one of the few manga where I will read it to laugh my fucking ass off. Like he's also like the author who wrote like Stupid Girlfriend. I think that's what it's called. Aho Girl. He's also the author who wrote that one. Genuinely so fucking funny. Girlfriend is so fucking funny. I even read the end of it. It's genuinely fucking hilarious. Apothecary is peak. I've yet to watch Apothecary. Mayo Chiki? I've never heard of that. I'll look it up. I've never heard of that. I've yet to watch Apothecary Diaries. I don't really know how to feel about it. It's unfortunate that there's a lot of shows that like I want to like, but then just oh, I watched this a long time ago. I read a little of the manga too. I don't remember it. It felt very cliche. It felt very, very cliche and just, oh, she's what is it? She's like a butler, but then she's also cute. Something like that. I don't remember. Mysterious Girlfriend X is pretty good. Just watched it. Weird premise, but give it a go. Mysterious Girlfriend X. That sounds familiar. I can't spell mysterious. Oh my god. Mysterious Girlfriend X. There we go. I can spell. Does Maison Ikkoku have an anime? Yes, but I preferred the manga more. Oh, this one is weird. This one's weird. Ooh, this one's fucking weird. You would laugh at me, but Steins Gate's romance is one of the best I've ever seen. It's funny because Reiji references Steins Gate, and a lot of what's currently going on in Rent-A-Girlfriend is a direct reference to fucking Steins Gate. Granted, I haven't seen Steins Gate in a while, and I do own the visual novel. I gotta fucking read it. I do own the visual novel for Steins Gate. I do gotta read it. Don't get the version of the visual novel that has the anime visuals because apparently they fuck it up somehow. So just, if you want to get the visual novel, get like the normal version. But yeah, Maison Ikkoku does have an anime, but I didn't like it personally. I know a lot of people love the anime for Maison Ikkoku. The author even supports it. Literally the Rumiko Takahashi, the way she treats Maison Ikkoku is literally how Reiji treats the anime for Rent-A-Girlfriend. It's the same thing. It's not perfect. It's not perfect, but she supports it and she likes it. It's the same thing with Rent-A-Girlfriend. So yeah, there you go. Fate will hate me, but I actually love Hina. Shinobu is adorable. So like, you can like Love Hina. I'm not gonna fucking hate you for that. I just get pissed when people compare Rent-A-Girlfriend to Love Hina because they're nothing alike. Because the actual inspiration for Rent-A-Girlfriend is Maison Ikkoku, which Love Hina blatantly used as a blueprint. Like blatantly, the author openly fucking said it. So I get really fucking annoyed when people are like take surface level shit. Like, oh, Chizuru has Chizuru puts glasses on and puts braids on. Therefore, she's whatever her fucking name from Love Hina. And I'm just like, are you fucking kidding? Are we just gonna pretend Superman doesn't fucking exist? We're just gonna pretend Superman doesn't fucking exist, right? And the reason Chizuru fucking does that is literally a criticism of the trope. Like the reason I don't like Love Hina is because Rent-A-Girlfriend in many ways actively goes out of its way to criticize all the tropes Love Hina created. Actively goes out of its fucking way to criticize all the tropes Love Hina created. So to compare the two is like the most surface level shit and tells me you don't understand anything. Which is why we fucking hate the Mother's Basement video. Which is why we fucking hate the Mother's Basement video. What's the other one? Shinobu. Oh, Shinobu is one of the characters, I guess. Mayochiki manga was better than the anime. Of course, the anime didn't cover the rest of it. Yeah, I tried starting Love Hina and I got fucking bored immediately because I read Maison Ikkoku first, and then I'm just like, oh, I want to read Love Hina. Let's see what it's like. Literally, the moment I started, I'm like, why is this the same thing? Why is this the same fucking thing, but just like slightly different? Oh, dude with glasses goes to a place he's inheriting from his grandmother. Fucking Kyoko goes to a home she's inheriting from her father-in-law. I'm just like, what the fuck? Wait, what the fuck? And he's in charge of the place, just like Kyoko is in charge of the place. Oh, look, he's surrounded by a bunch of crazy tenants. Oh, look, she's surrounded by a bunch of crazy tenants. Oh, look, she falls in love with one of the tenants. Oh, look, he falls in love with one of the tenants. I'm just like, what the fuck? It's the same fucking thing. Dude, it's the same fucking thing. Do you have a favorite wholesome romance manga? Oh. I know what you mean. You just mean like it has no drama or anything and is the greatest thing since sliced bread. I don't know. Rent a Girlfriend is that for me. I understand that's not it for you. Um, I don't know. I'd have to think. Oh, A Sign of Affection. You'll like A Sign of Affection. It has drama, but it's super light. It has drama, but it's super light. You'll like Sign of Affection. It's pretty fucking wholesome. There you go. That's a good one. I don't know how the manga is later. I only watched the anime. But if you want like wholesome romance manga, Sign of Affection. I mean, yeah, see what you don't realize is most anime and manga, most romance anime and manga pretty much just blatantly copied Maison Ikkoku, and people thought it was copying Love Hina. Love Hina just popularized the harem idea. Love Hina pretty much popularized the fucking harem idea. To me, Love Hina is like Beastars or Anohana. It all made the garbage container. Beastars is fucking amazing. Shut the fuck up. Beastars is fucking amazing. Shut the fuck up. No? Beastars is amazing, and I say this as someone who's not a furry. Beastars is great. It has some issues, don't get me wrong, but Beastars is great. Beastars is fucking, it hits hard, dude. Anohana is that the one where the girl is dead? Yeah, it is. It's like she's a ghost. I don't remember this one very well. I haven't seen it in a very long time. I do not remember this one very well. I do remember liking it. I got very fucking emotional over it, but I don't remember it very well. The animation was great. I remember liking this chick a lot. This girl right here, I remember liking her a lot. Anime characters that with lips that scare me, but Sign of Affection is pretty good. Oh yeah, they do have funny lips, don't they? Sign of Affection. Yeah, look at this man's lips. He's so fucking hot. That's the only thing that I'm not crazy about with this series. Everybody is so fucking hot. Every single character in this story is so fucking hot. And that's why it doesn't go up in my list. Cause it's literally this is a big turnoff I've had recently with a lot of these like anime and manga that I read. Everybody's hot. Everybody is fucking hot. Just like, and I mean like very traditionally hot. I'm just like, okay, I get it. Okay, I get it. Everybody and their mother is hot. Great, cool. I'm getting bored of this. I get very bored of just everybody is hot characters. Like, Reiji does that well. For example, the way he writes Shiyunji family, everybody is hot, and yet every single character is flawed. You know? Every single character is flawed in their hotness. And that makes it so interesting. You know? That creates such a fascinating balance with the characters and the writing. That they are all hot, but that's actually part of the fucking problem. You want one where they get married and have a family? Fly Me to the Moon. Manga. Yeah, this one. They get married frame 1. They get married frame 1. Boom. Kids, I don't know about that. But they get married frame 1s. I wasn't really crazy. I wasn't really that into this one. That's just me. I just thought it was okay. I wasn't really that into it. Granted, I didn't really give it a proper chance. I was like watching the anime and I just thought it's like, whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's it. I think that is it. I actually haven't been watching much anime lately. The only thing I'm watching right now is Dragon Ball. I'm watching OG Dragon Ball. Like, I am 119 episodes in. I think I'm almost done. I think there's like 160 or something episodes. Dude, watching older shows is so funny. You can skip a good 3.5 minutes of the start of the episode, and you can skip the last 2 minutes of the episode. And sometimes you can just like press the forward button because here's just a bunch of recaps and flashbacks. And I'm just like, this sure reminds me of watching One Piece. Because this is literally what One Piece felt like. You skip the opening, you skip the recap, and then you watch, you make sure, you got to know when the flashbacks are happening. And if the flashback is real in the manga, or if the flashback is just like, here, we're just going to insert a fucking flashback. And then you just got to skip sometimes. And that's literally how watching Dragon Ball feels sometimes. It's like, guys, what the fuck? But then sometimes the animation and the fights go hard as fuck. Do you like One Piece romance? What romance? Like Romance Dawn? Like the fucking like the original concept of One Piece? Because One Piece doesn't really have romance. Not really. One Piece doesn't really have romance. Like what romance? Sanji gets asked out by a girl and turns her down because he wants to go with the homies. That's kind of it. There isn't really much romance in One Piece. Like, not that I can really think of. One Piece isn't really about romance, you know? But you asked me, do you like One Piece romance? Oh, that's a different person, my bad. That's a different person, my bad. Pokemon has more romance than One Piece. Oh my god. Oh my god. I do find the fucking Dragon Ball kind of funny sometimes, because they'll just be like, Goku is pure of heart. Goku, I want fucking revenge. I'm gonna kill this guy. He's a piece of shit. I'm like, yeah, pure of heart. Sure, buddy. Pure of heart. Sure, buddy. Right? He's like, I'm gonna fucking murder Piccolo. I'm gonna fucking murder Piccolo. They're like, oh yeah, Goku's pure of heart. Goku is pure of heart. Like that shit's so funny, because that's where I am right now. I'm like at the King Piccolo arc, or Demon King Piccolo, and he like killed Krillin, and he killed Master Roshi, and he destroyed Goku's Kinto Un, his flying Nimbus, and Goku's like, I'm gonna fucking kill him. I'm gonna fucking kill him. He's like so mad. So that shit is like genuinely funny to me, because I'm like, oh yeah, Goku sure is pure of heart. Literally wants to fucking murk this dude, and like literally murders fuckers. The dude like literally murders some of these guys. It's so funny. And he's like, yep, pure of heart. That's so pure of heart of him. Okay. Yeah, I streamed for an extra 40 minutes, more than I had intended to. So we're gonna call that here. I think now is as good a time as any to stop. Thank you guys for tuning in. I stayed a little extra just because the Ink Den rated us, but it seems like most of his people are gone now, so I think we can call it for now. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing, and like button, and the bell icon. Keep up with the uploads, all the fun stuff. I'm going to try to trim these down, make them into videos we can watch, something a little more easy to digest. If you're supporting me on Patreon, I would really appreciate it if you could. What else? Follow me on Twitter, where I make a bunch of analysis and I notice some things, some interesting stuff like that. And join the Discord. We do have a Discord. It is listed in the description. If you can't get in for some weird reason, it happens sometimes, just write a comment and I will give you a new link or something like that. There you go. So yeah, I've been Faye, and remember, let's mosey. Okay, I'm gonna go chill. Maybe watch Dragon Ball. Maybe eat something. Maybe play a little Final Fantasy 14. I don't know, something. I'm just gonna relax a little bit. Goku's rage is part of his character arc. It comes back as versus Frieza on the most infamous scene in the anime history. Infamous? Oh, famous scene. Yeah. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.